Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Hidden Laws of Attraction. I'm your host, Dr. David Snyder. And for the next 2-3 hours, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the most powerful and useful, practical, belief independent techniques on how to utilize the law of attraction and use your subconscious mind to create very powerful changes in your life, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, professional, financial, romantic. All of these techniques can be used in all of those areas. Tonight is very special for me because the law of attraction is actually something I've been, whether you think of it as blessed or cursed with, I've been studying aspects of it for many, many years. In fact, most of my life. It's something I rarely, for many years, did not want to teach. But the universe has a way of kind of bringing me to a different understanding of things. Thank you for the compliments on my background. I was getting some rather interesting feedback on my choice of background. So, and since I'm no longer in that location where that background was, I decided to change it up. So a couple of things before we get into the content of tonight's webinar. First of all, let me preface this. If you're used to the standard webinar where they pitch you and they tease you about stuff for 60, 90 minutes, you're going to be a little bit surprised and disappointed, I'm hoping. And let me clarify what I mean by disappointed. Our job here at Planet David is to actually teach you something that you can take out into the world today and actually use. And the way that we go about doing that is by giving you a set of experiences, processes that we're going to do together where you can experience the own power of your unconscious mind and how to talk to it and communicate with it in ways that the universe intended us to use, but maybe it was lost, maybe it was suppressed. I think it's a little bit of both, quite frankly. In the studies that I've been, in the many, many systems I've studied over the past 30 or 40 years, what I've seen over and over and over again is that, think of law of attraction kind of like, all right, here's the metaphor that I use. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. Think about every system or every culture on the planet had some way to tap into higher powers, whether you call it God, Source, the universe, Gaia, whatever your word for that higher divine providence is. Every culture on the planet, from the time we crawled out of the ocean, had a way of tapping into these forces and bringing things into manifestation, right? Some called it magic, some called it religion, some called it yoga. But at the end of the day, it was about taking something that you wanted, sending a message, putting a call out to the universe, and having it appear in your life, right? And one of the things I found, because of my background in NLP and other arts that forced me to take a look at what we call pattern and structure, I discovered something very, very profound, at least for me, was that a lot of these systems, regardless of the geography, regardless of the time period in which it was developed, when you looked at what they were doing through the eyes of a neurolinguistic programmer, through the eyes of somebody versed in this idea of structure over content, what you found was similar structures, similar processes were universal to all of these. And after several years of exploring these things, one of the things I discovered was that each system worked at the time it was developed. But over the course of centuries, decades, however young or new it was, pieces were lost. Some pieces were deliberately held back. And so what every culture wound up with, in many cases, was what I would call an incomplete jigsaw puzzle. Now, if you all understand what I mean by a jigsaw puzzle, type I understand in the chat. Okay? I'll wait, it's okay. Okay, good. So here's my theory on it. And you can accept it or not. It's not going to change the effectiveness of the techniques you're going to learn tonight. It just kind of gives you a little bit of context of where I'm coming from and how to tap into the one thing that all of these systems have in common besides their structure: your human nervous system. That's right. Everything meets at the human nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, the central nervous system, the proprioceptive nervous system, the interoceptive nervous system. If you start from that foundation, everything they're doing makes sense. And that's where we're going to start. We're going to start from the body and work up or work out, depending on your concept of metaphysics. But if you think of every system that we're teaching about, each of them, if they had a full, complete jigsaw puzzle, the pictures would all be the same. The Chinese systems would have the similar picture to the Middle Eastern systems, which have a similar picture to the European systems, which have a similar picture to the Egyptian systems or the Celtic system. Not in terms of the terminology that they used or the time periods, but in terms of the process that they used. And so over time, what I found was this system had an incomplete jigsaw puzzle, and this system had an incomplete jigsaw puzzle, and this system had an incomplete jigsaw puzzle, and this system had an incomplete jigsaw puzzle. But each one was missing different pieces. And if you get enough incomplete jigsaw puzzles, assuming they all have the same picture or a very similar picture, you can start to reconstruct a whole one. You can start to figure out what pieces are actually missing by the hole it leaves in the puzzle, right? You've all seen this, yes? You look at the puzzle, you see a piece that's missing, you start looking for that shape, something that fits that hole. Does that make sense? If you understand? Okay, cool. All right, good. So again, I don't normally begin my webinars this way, but for some reason I felt like this was something that needed to be out there. Somebody out there needed to hear that. And if you're on this webinar, it's not an accident. Okay? I believe very much in this concept of divine timing, but I also believe in a process called discernment, which is the ability to figure out when to do something and when not to do something, right? Discernment is your responsibility. So the techniques we're going to be covering over the next 90 minutes, well, actually closer to 3 hours, so 180 minutes, right? You don't got to believe. You just got to do them. And if you do them, you're going to experience the magic inherent in your nervous system, and you're going to learn how to clear blocks to your success, remove limiting beliefs, and reprogram your subconscious mind to interact with the larger mind that is the universe. So, a couple of things. First and foremost, if this is the scope of everything there is to cover in tonight's webinar, even with 3 hours, we've got time for this much. So my commitment, my promise to you tonight is I will take you as far down this law of attraction rabbit hole as I can. I will give you as many experiences as humanly possible to prove to you that you have the ability to do this. And I will show you how to take it to the next level and the next level and the next level if that's where you want to go. Is that a fair trade? If you think that's a fair trade, if you're willing to do that and take action on what I tell you to do, go ahead and type yes in the chat. Okay, very cool. And I'm really excited to see so many familiar faces. I'm also very excited to see a lot of new faces. If you're new, if this is your first time joining us on one of these webinars, what I'd like you to do is go ahead, type your name, where you're checking in from, and first time in the chat. Go ahead and do that now. All right. For those of you who are joining us on YouTube, when you type something in the chat, I will see it in real time. But there's about a 60 to 90 second delay between when I answer or talk about something on the video and it shows up on your feed. So if you have questions, and anybody who's watched any of my videos for a long period of time knows I love questions. I really do. The problem is many times the questions take us in a different direction than my intention. So there's 3 ways now that you can get your questions answered from the content on this webinar. And Jennifer, yes, there will be a recording, and that actually goes into part of what I'm going to talk about. First and foremost, if you have a question, type it in the chat. If I see it and it's relevant to the point that we're going to be covering at that moment in the webinar, I'll go ahead and answer it at the risk of kind of chasing a squirrel, right? Many times, because there's so many people typing at the same time, I miss your question, right? So if you feel like I just missed your question and it was relevant to the point of the webinar that we're at, keep typing it in, right? If I see it and I feel it's relevant, I'll answer it. But there's a high probability I won't. Okay. Second of all, those of you, how many veterans to Planet David do we have on tonight's class? I hate to use that term webinar because it's really a class. Cool. So first and foremost, if you're a long-time member of Planet David, you've been bebopping around us anywhere from 3 months or longer, and type your name in your chat and how long you've been with us, and I'm going to ask you to be my assistants, so to speak, for tonight. And here's what I mean. When people ask questions, if you have experience with the material I've taught you, that pertains to the question they're asking, and you've successfully used our techniques to handle that, I want, if you would be so kind, reach out and let them know and answer their question in the chat. Right? Be my assistants, because you are the best proof that I have to offer. You guys have been out there, and I use the gender non-specific guys. You guys have been out there in the field putting this stuff to work and proving it to yourself for months, years, however long it's been. So you're better qualified and a more trustworthy source than I am, even because you guys expect me. I'm on a webinar. You expect me to say, hey, my stuff is the best thing since sliced bread, and if you take my stuff, you'll be the king of the world, right? You expect that, right? I have an agenda, so to speak. But the people in the chat rooms right next to you, they don't, right? And so if you've had that, if these things have impacted your life positively, please answer the questions. The final way you can get your question answered, and this is the one that a lot of people seem to really like. At the end of this webinar, I'm streaming to two sources right now. I'm streaming from Zoom to YouTube. So I have two copies of this content going out. Immediately after I log off the Zoom call tonight, YouTube will start processing its copy of my footage. It usually takes 20, 30, 40 minutes for that process to take place. And then the replay will go live immediately on YouTube. If you have a question that you would like a direct answer from me, all you need to do is go to the comment section below that video replay, type in your question. Because every time I do a webinar or an AMA or whatever, for the next 5 to 7 to 10 days after that, I scan those comment sections every single day looking for questions, and I will answer those questions as best I can in that format. So you have 3 ways to get your question answered. Type it in the chat. If I see it, I'll answer it. If I don't answer it, keep typing it. And if I still don't answer it, and if somebody else has an experience or an answer to that question, feel free to type it in the chat, right? And then finally, if that's still, you want more of a direct answer or more clarified answer from me, go to the replay, type it in the comment window, and you'll be able to get your question answered when I can get around to typing the answer in. And I'll tell you, if I can answer your question, I will. I'll tell you. If I can't answer it, I'll tell you that too, right? And I'll do my best to point you in the direction of where to go to get that information. Because again, I wasn't born an omniscient being, contrary to what some people might think. There's stuff I don't know, and I'll tell you when I don't know. I don't. We don't have time in our lives for bullshit or theories or pre-verifications or whatever. I sure don't, and I'm pretty sure you don't either. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to assume that a lot of you are here because you want to take the randomness out of your life. Would that be true or not true? Right? You want to have more control, more influence, right? Okay. So let me go ahead and start and officially start the Dr. David Dog and Pony Show with this final disclaimer. If politically correct language, colorful metaphors, swearing, or the word boobies offends you, this is probably not the best time use of your next 3 hours, okay? My intention is never to offend anyone, but my style of presentation tends to be highly provocative, politically incorrect, and all focused on learning to get people to not take themselves so fucking seriously, right? So if you're one of those people who has the proverbial graphite rod stuck up their butt, there's the virtual door. Don't let it hit you in the graphite rod on the way out, okay? Let's have some fun. And that's the secret, the first secret I want you to have tonight about the law of attraction, right? The law of attraction tells us that you will attract into your life the situations, circumstances, events, people that are in harmony with your dominant thoughts, that are in harmony with your dominant vibration. Have you guys ever heard anything along these lines, that that's what the law of attraction is supposed to be about? Yes or no? Type it in the chat. Okay. Here's the problem with that. It's true enough to be true and bullshit enough to be bullshit. Let me explain. First and foremost, most people don't really understand what is meant by your dominant thoughts. Okay? You have 2 sets of thoughts at any given moment. thoughts you know about consciously, that you're consciously aware of, and thoughts you do not. The thoughts that you are not consciously aware of are their dominant vibration, the dominant signal that you're sending out to the universe, and they will mutate or taint whatever you intend to send out unless you clear out those dominant vibrations first. And since we're on the subject of vibration, let's talk about one other thing. We talk about from basic physics, and of course, and here's one of the things we understand metaphysics by understanding real world physics. Okay, we're going to apply this thing called the law of analogy, right? Most people try to get in touch with this higher power and force things to happen in the real world, but that's not the fastest way to get this shit to work. Shit being a technical term, specialized, hidden, hypnotic influence technologies, right? The fastest way to get that connection is by starting with your body. Okay? And when we start with the body, we have to start with this understanding of what does vibration actually mean in terms of the physical body? What does it actually mean? Well, functionally, you have vibrations in your body that you're aware of, just like your thoughts, vibrations in your body that you're not aware of, right? These are all analogous to body feelings. Okay, and again, I'm opening a bunch of loops because I'm about to start the official Dr. David Dog and Pony show, but I want to give you the first secret first. And that is this. How many of you would like to be 30% smarter, attractive, able to manifest things 30% faster and easier? Anybody? Type yes, that's me in the chat. Okay, here's what you have to do. You have to be as easygoing, playful, and relaxed as humanly possible. Okay? And here's why. Let's talk about vibration. So do we know from physics class, can we all agree on from physics that higher vibrations dominate lower vibrations? Can we agree with that concept? Yes or yes? Okay. So let me ask you to think about something. What? I thought you were going to show me a PowerPoint, David. You're making me think. Holy shit, Batman. Right? Think about this for a moment. Which is a higher vibration? Joy or sadness? Ah, okay. Which is a higher vibration? Seriousness or playfulness? Playfulness. Exactly. So here's the first most important universal way to hack the law of attraction and make it work faster, better, and more easily than ever before. Be as humanly playful as possible in every single thing you do. I don't care if you're doing trauma resolution, shoveling shit in a ditch somewhere. The more playful and fun-loving you are, the more the universe magnetizes events and things to you. But on a functional, practical level, in hostage negotiation, when the hostage negotiator approaches the situation in a fun, easygoing, playful manner, a playful energy, he's 31% more perceptive, 31% more adaptive, 31% more creative, 31% more intelligent. And, think about this for a moment, and his counterpart, the hostage taker, is up to 31% more compliant. Think about it. The bad guy is 31% more likely to do what the negotiator asks if the negotiator is playful. Now, isn't the law of attraction kind of us asking the universe or negotiating with the universe for stuff? Do you see the analog interpersonally versus transpersonally? Does that make sense? Okay, so the great question, what if other people around you, what is the easiest way to be playful under extreme? Control your posture, control your breathing. Okay? Control your posture, control your breathing. For every psycho-emotional state that you have, there's a physiological posture and breathing pattern that allows it to manifest. After that, it's practice. Does that make sense? Even if it doesn't make sense, I can give you, one of the places you can look at is, what does an analog mean? It means similar to, or similar in structure as, right? So if I say, yeah, that's as far as I can go with that. Does that make, are you guys with me so far? So I want you to go ahead and wrap your mind around what I'm telling you, is that I want you to bring as fun-loving, playful, and curious a mindset to everything I'm going to teach you tonight as humanly possible. Because if you do that, you don't have to believe anything I'm going to teach you. You just got to do the things I tell you to do. Why? Because we spend a lot of time distilling this stuff to be belief independent and focused on mechanics. In other words, follow the process, the events will manifest. The phenomena will manifest. Does that make sense? Right? There's a lot going on with, again, there's a lot of things you can do and play with vibrationally. We don't have the time. Like I said, if this is the scope of everything there is to talk about, I got time for this. So I'll take you as far down this rabbit hole as I can, and I'll point you in the direction of where to go for more. Is that okay? Type it in the chat if that's okay. All right. So with your permission, I want to go through my basic presentation, and at a certain point in the presentation, again, I'm going to lay foundations. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. For those of you who don't know my credentials, I want you to make sure you have it. I'm going to give you, we're going to do some drills at a certain point in the webinar, usually around the 60 to 75-minute mark. I'm going to go into part 2 of the webinar, which is going to be the programs that we've put together for you to take it so you can level up. When I'm done with part 2, I'm going to circle back around to the content we did in part 1, which is here. And I'm going to continue to teach. And I'm going to customize the content of this webinar for you. I want to focus on one of the, as a group, what you want to learn about the most. Do you want to get rid of resistance? Do you want to overcome limiting beliefs? Do you want to put things into your future that are going to manifest? Do you want to heal yourself? You know, whatever it is that you as a collective want, then that's what we'll focus on for the third portion of tonight's webinar. Is that a fair trade? Is that a good process for us that you're willing to stick with me for? Okay, excellent. All right, so with that being said, I would like to officially jump into the Dr. David Dog and Pony Show. Hold on a second. Where is my PowerPoint? Did I mute myself? No, I didn't mute myself. Hold on. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right, welcome to Hidden Laws of Attraction, Forgotten Secrets for Manifesting Success, Health, Wealth, and Happiness. Tonight we're going to focus specifically on the law of attraction and psychological tips for reprogramming your subconscious mind, removing blocks to your success, getting rid of negative emotions, and programming your mind for unlimited success, health, wealth, and happiness. But first and foremost, and because we have a lot of new people on tonight's webinar, this is something that, you know, is always important. Like, who the hell is Dr. David Snyder and why should I care? First and foremost, I am an actual doctor of Oriental medicine. This is my degree in acupuncture and Chinese medicine from Pacific College of Oriental Medicine. I've had a practice in Solana Beach, California since 2005, where I focused on treating physiological illness that is produced by repressed emotion. So I've had a lot of neurolinguistic programmers, a lot of hypnotists. They'd spend a lot of time focused on things like weight loss, nail biting, sometimes social anxieties, things of that nature, smoke cessation. I never got those clients. I did get some social anxiety clients, but most of the things I got were medical issues. They were literally terminal cancers, chronic illness, allergies, asthma, emphysema, chronic constipation, insomnia, all of which had as its root a repressed emotional base. So I got a real deep dive over the last 15 years into discovering how people actually manifest their own illnesses. And I don't look at illnesses that people manifest as a problem. I look at them as a message. And when you start to understand the human body is a metaphor generation mechanism, all disease processes are actually metaphors of some kind of information that the system's trying to process, you realize that nobody's really broken, even though they often feel that way because nobody's taught them any different. But I learned an awful lot about how people think, how they manifest, and how to influence and persuade people. Not only that, in 2020, I was named the #1 NLP trainer in the world by globalgurus.org. I've been in the top 2 slot for the last 5 to 7 years. I've authored over 15 different products on various forms of influence, everything from conversational hypnosis, hypnotherapy, NLP, and obviously law of attraction, energy healing, and vibrational and remote influence as well. And this is something I'm really, really proud of. In 2020, my course Killer Influence was named the #1 NLP training course of the year by globalgurus.org. 3 or 4 days ago, I got this email from Global Gurus, and it says, "Dear David, it is with great pleasure to announce that your training program, Killer Influence, has been chosen by global peers and ranked as the #1 best program in the world for NLP for 2022. We are still #1. You can see the rankings here. And if you click on this link, you'll see once again that we've beaten out all the other courses out there, which is funny because, as a law of attraction story, we never promoted Killer Influence as an NLP class. It's certainly a class that uses NLP, but so I'm very proud of that. Some of the material that you're going to learn about today is actually stuff that we teach to our beginners in Killer Influence, the state control stuff specifically. So I also have a 10th degree black belt in an art called Ryukyu Kempo Karate, which focuses on pressure point and energy manipulations of the acupuncture system. It's actually what got me into acupuncture, believe it or not. I have a 4th degree black belt in Shaolin Kung Tao, a 2nd degree black belt in Kosho Kempo Ryu, a 1st degree black belt in Fanku Ryu Jiu-Jitsu. I'm also a certified instructor in Combat Sistema, and we'll talk a little bit about Sistema later on in the webinar, because as far as energy manipulations go, perhaps the best system I've seen for tapping into the power of the human nervous system, and I've studied Tai Chi and Aikido and Aiki Jiu-Jitsu, is actually Sistema. So I've also got a trainer's certification in Cinco Mano Eskrima and a basic instructor certification in Modern Arnis, and I've been doing energy work most of my life. I'm a Hermetic skills practitioner. I've been a Reiki master and teacher since before Reiki was cool. Advanced pranic healer and pranic psychotherapist, advanced DNA theta healing, Bankston energy healing, and many, many, many forms of Qigong and Taoist mysticism and sorcery. So that's where we're going tonight. And when you see all this stuff, this big laundry list of stuff, a lot of people ask, well, what the hell does all these things have in common? First thing we talked about at the beginning of the webinar, vibrational state control and pattern recognition. What do these have to do with the law of attraction and success, health, wealth, and happiness? Ladies and gentlemen, pretty much everything. Right? Pretty much everything. So that being said, let's jump into content. Okay? Are you in fact in the right place? Remember, I said at the beginning of this webinar, there are no accidents. So if this is true for you, I just want you to affirm it for me. All I want you to do is, if you're here to take the randomness out of your manifestation work, to make it happen faster, easier, and more consistently, type "I'm here for that." I want that in the chat. If you're ready to remove blocks to your success, get over limiting beliefs, attract love, health, wealth, success, and more opportunities into your life without adding more to your everyday workload, type "That's for me" in the chat. And finally, if you're ready to take your life to the next level and become the very best version of yourself, I invite you to stay with me for the entire time that we're on tonight, because we're going to teach you how to change every aspect of your life with these universal tools, right? If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and type "That's for me" in the chat. Cool. All right. Now, you are going to want to stay on till the end of the webinar. I know a lot of you can't, and that's cool, right? But if you can, I promise you that we're going to show you the reasons why the law of attraction may not be working for you, two of the most important factors for success, the 3 ingredients to achieving anything you want in life, the rules of the mind that nobody's talking about, and they should, the 7, what we're going to call body-centered energy psychotherapy, programming your future and clearing your past, right? So what can we do with the material that we're going to be talking about? Well, first and foremost, how many of you would like to be more attractive to members of the opposite sex or even the same sex? If that's true, type "That's me" in the chat, right? Make them find you charming and irresistible. That's for me, right? How about making more money from your job, booking more clients for your business, getting that raise or promotion that you know you deserve and keep getting passed over for? If that's for you, type it in. If you'd like to banish fear from your life, insecurity, and radiate confidence and move through the life, having people flock to you because you're very charismatic and people just want to be in your aura, this is for you, right? If you would like to program yourself to create massive financial abundance with more than enough money to buy the things you want and then some, you're in the right place, okay? If you'd like to attract more people and really inspire and motivate your employees, nail job interviews, this is a good place. The content in tonight's webinar has done all of that and more. And many of the people who've actually have had these experiences are right next to you in the chat. So if any of you have had these experiences that I'm talking about using our content, type that happened to me in the chat. Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, so once again, I'm going to teach you in this webinar how to the fastest, most powerful, and direct way to reprogram your mind. How to use the real laws of attraction, because the law of attraction isn't one law. This is the first big epiphany, besides that whole vibrational thing I started the webinar with. The law of attraction isn't one law. It's actually 7 laws. 7. Wait, I can't see myself in the screen, so 7 laws, right? See, I'm mathematically challenged, which is why I teach hypnosis, right? We're going to show you how to change your vibration to match and attract whatever you want, right? We're going to actually do that's one of the first things we're going to do. We're going to teach you how to remove those blocks to your success and get rid of negative emotions, fear, pain, and limiting beliefs, the ones you didn't even realize you might have had. And finally, we're going to give you the exact steps that you need to take to go from interesting information to maximum manifestation in minimum time. Okay? So, let's talk about how many people here have been doing the law of attraction for any length of time. Just type in the chat for me. Okay, good. So, first question. Why doesn't the law of attraction, does it always work? Does it always work? Why not? Let's talk about some reasons why the law of attraction might not actually be working for you, right? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quick because I'm going to jump out of the PowerPoint. Here we go. All right, let's go through this really quick. So the law of attraction tells us, first and foremost, that you will attract into your life the situations, circumstances, and events that are in harmony with your dominant thoughts. But, once again, they, quotation marks, air quotes, didn't really tell you what your dominant thoughts actually are. Would you guys like to experience what your dominant thoughts actually are? If you would, type that in the chat. Okay, so at the risk of, spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you right now that your dominant thoughts are your subconscious thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. But how do we find out what those are? How do we figure that out? We're going to do an exercise together. Okay? So here's the first exercise. This is a technique in our world we call color breathing. And we're also going to talk about another technique which has different levels to it called Ginformations. So here's something I want you to do right now. I want you to think of something you really, really want, and I want you to speak it out loud in the form of an affirmation. You can type it in the chat if you want, but I don't really care about that right now. I want to give you the experience of understanding conscious thought versus unconscious thought. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of something you really want, something you might do an affirmation for, and I want you to speak it out loud. And when you've done that, do it 3 or 4 times. And then when you've done that, type done in the chat. Well, it might be, to use a simple one, like every day in every way, I am becoming richer and richer and richer, right? Or I now weigh a slim, trim 180 pounds or whatever. Okay, so here's my question. How did you feel in your body when you spoke those words? Type in the chat what you felt. And there's no right or wrong answer here, so don't try to guess what I'm looking for. So some say, some so awesome, okay, hopeful, indifferent, resistance, okay, lying to self, very good. So for those of you, you had a feeling change, right? Something changed in your body. How many of you noticed that when you spoke the affirmation out loud, there was a good feeling? And in the background, there was this little nagging, icky feeling, right? It wasn't real strong. It was just kind of in the background, and most of you probably, when you were doing the affirmation, noticed it and tried to ignore it and focused on the positive feeling. Would that be accurate? Okay, congratulations. You just found your dominant thoughts. The reason you have these background feelings isn't because they're little. It's because they're deep. They're in the unconscious mind. Right? So when you do an affirmation, if you're doing it properly, there will be a yes, there'll be a good feeling. But if it's in conflict with your dominant belief systems, your shit, your blocks, there will be a little background kind of a nagging sensation. And that's the first step. That's what I want you to become aware of first. You see, you can pump, you've probably heard me say many times that most people move through the world with the equivalent of a jet engine and an anchor strapped to their back, right? Now, it's natural for us, we go to motivational speakers like Tony Robbins or who's another one that people gets people pumped up. You know the kind of people I'm talking about, right? We go and we get more fuel for the jet engine, right? We put more push into the engine. But if there's an anchor connected to it, it creates more drag. T-heart, right? And so we get pumped up, but it runs out. Why does it run out? It runs out because of the anchor. The anchor is the shit you haven't cleared up. It's the stuff that's running. Here's why I mean it's dominant thoughts. Because the feelings that you're having only percolate or penetrate your conscious awareness when you stimulate them externally. In other words, you think you try to entertain a thought, a feeling, or an idea that thought is in conflict with. But, and this is important, that nagging feeling that you become aware of in those moments is on an endless loop. It's constantly running below the threshold of conscious awareness. And that's the signal that it's sending out to the universe. Does that make sense what I'm saying so far? Okay, so the question becomes, what do we do about it? Well, I'm glad you asked. First and foremost, we need to become aware of it. Remember, write this down, tattoo it everywhere in your house. Anything outside of your awareness is outside of your control. Anything outside of your awareness is outside of your control. Now, you have two levels to your awareness. You have conscious awareness and other than conscious awareness, right? You're going to hear me talk in this webinar about different divisions of your nervous system, right? How many of you are familiar with the autonomic nervous system? Yes? Okay. Now, within the autonomic nervous system are other divisions. You have the parasympathetic nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system. We all kind of know that. But you also have these divisions of your nervous system called the proprioceptive and interoceptive nervous system, right? And one of the problems that we have with interoception is the kinesthetics of inside your body. So you all know that you're 70% water, yes? Okay. So, has anybody here ever tried to carry a bucket full of water across a room? What happens to the water in the bucket? It sloshes. Oh, well, let me ask you a question. If you're 70% water and you're walking across the room or up the stairs, why aren't you sloshing? Ever wonder? Yes, I do. The truth is, Ivan's right. You actually do. The difference is your interoceptive nervous system, which monitors all of that internal motion, all of those inner sensations, filters it from your conscious awareness until it's provoked, like what we just did with the affirmation. All of those sensations we just talked about are always there. They're always running. It's filtered. If you want to do the research on this, go read How Emotions Are Made by Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett. And you can find the whole theory of constructive emotions and how it actually your interoceptive nervous system, the part of you that monitors all your internal body feelings and keeps it below the threshold of conscious awareness, controls your life. Sophia says, I do not like emotions. You will when we're done. Lisa Feldman Barrett. Okay? Are you guys with me so far? Is this kind of making sense? Remember, you're 70% water. We all know from the studies by Emotu and all these other, you can program water, can't you? You can program water to make it more healthy or make it less healthy, right? Well, guess what you're doing constantly? You're programming the water of your body. Your interoceptive nervous system is keeping that information outside of your conscious awareness until you find yourself in a situation that provokes it. Like when you're giving yourself an affirmation that goes against that negative programming that's always running. So we need to fix our shit before we put more fuel in the tank. Does that make sense? To do that, we're going to talk about something called vibrational state control. Vibrational state control is the ability to change your psycho-emotional state at will, anytime, anywhere, under any circumstances. Now, in our CPI courses, our Killer Influence courses, our Identity by Design courses, we have whole days or half days devoted to nothing but how to do this. In 3 hours, I can show you maybe one or two things, but it'll be enough. If you want to research more on how your physiology and your posture controls your psycho-emotional states, look up Amy Cuddy's work on power poses, right? It's been around forever. It's a TED Talk. You can do it, all right? So your dominant thoughts, they're the icky feelings that are in the background. They're not background, and they're not weak because they're not in the background because they're weak or they're off in the distance. They're in the background because they're deep inside your neurology. Does that make sense? Okay, so would you guys like to begin the process of maybe changing some of that shit? Would that be useful? Okay, so here's what we want to do now. Here's our first drill today. A, if you are driving, operating heavy machinery, or engaged in any activity that requires your full and undivided attention, don't do this drill. If you want to do the drill, pull off to the side of the road, find a parking lot, put the car in park, turn off the engine, put the emergency brake on, make sure you won't be disturbed. If you can stand, it's going to be even better for you. Right? And here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to have as much fun with this as humanly possible. I want you to remember a time in your life when you felt the most amazing, thrilling, fulfilling, satisfying pleasure ever. I don't care. I don't care what it was, all right? I'm not the pleasure police. I don't care who you were with, what you were doing, what substances were involved, whether you crossed any state lines. I don't care. All I care about is that when you close your eyes and you see what you see, and you hear what you hear, and you smell and you taste what you smell and you taste, there is an amazing, wonderful, ecstatic feeling that you get, a feeling of absolute pleasure. And I'd like you to notice, I'd like you to become aware that there's a place in your body where those wonderful feelings start, where they grow and where they spread from. Take a moment and point to where you feel it. And I'm curious, I'm wondering if there was a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those amazing, wonderful feelings. What color or colors might that be for you? First impression. Now, you don't need to type anything in the chat. I don't need to know any of this. I want you focused and absorbed in this process. I want you to take a moment and imagine that beautiful colored energy of pleasure floating above your head. I'd like you to notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. That amazing ball of pleasure begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill your entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of pleasure. A cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you, inoculating you from all less than pleasurable experiences, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything it most wants, everything it most needs in an infinite, ever-expanding, and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got that, breathe those amazing colors through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away, not even you. And when you know you've got it, you know it's locked in, Test it. Try to turn it off. Try to take it away. Notice what happens instead. And when you're done testing and you enjoy what you got, type into the chat what you got. Oh, Sophia says, I love this. Try to turn off and it made me giggle. Giggling with joy. Now, would this be it? Now, remember what we said about higher vibrations controlling lower vibrations? Yes? Do you think this would be a better vibration to do your manifestation work from? James says, ecstasy. Perfect. It only gets better. It only gets stronger. For as long as your heart continues to beat, for as long as your lungs continue to breathe, anytime you want to feel this pleasure or even stronger, all you got to do is assume that posture. Imagine that beautiful color above your head. Fill the room, wrap it around you, breathe it through you, and boom, your states will change. Enjoy it for a moment, and when you're ready to move on, just type ready in the chat. Now, some of you may have had trouble with this, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you're broken. Doesn't mean you're broken. Part 3 of this webinar, we're going to show you how to fix that stuff. Okay? I promise. I'm not going to leave anybody here behind. But remember, this is an experiential webinar. The more of these things you do, the more power of your own neurology you're going to tap into. Okay? So, do you think this might be a better energy to manifest with? Yes or no? Yes or yes, as T. Harv would say. Yes. Now, here's an interesting paradox, right? How many of you have done affirmations in your life? How many of you have ever done affirmations before? Now, I know half of you will tell me the truth with this next question. The rest of you will lie, and it's okay. How many of you usually don't start doing affirmations until you're in a bad mood and you need to change it? Type in the chat. What's the point of an affirmation? To manifest something, right? The point of an affirmation is not to change your state. So if you're in a shitty mood and you start doing these positive affirmations to the universe, it's like having this beautiful, pristine map to wherever you want to go and taking a big pile of poop and throwing it on there. That's my provocative language, by the way. And that's why affirmations, the way they're done traditionally, take so long to work. Do you ever notice you got to do those affirmations for 10, 15, 20 minutes before you start to feel different significantly? Anybody ever notice that? Yes or no? It's okay. I know for everything I teach, there's going to be some exceptions to the rule, and that's okay. Virginia says they never work for me. I'm going to teach you on part 3 of this webinar. I'm going to teach you how to do affirmations the way your nervous system wants them to be done. Would that be cool? Haven't had success with? Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. Then that's part of what we'll work on in part 3 of tonight's webinar. So, first and foremost, your dominant thoughts are analogous to the beliefs held in your subconscious mind that are running on an automatic pilot. They only become noticeable when you provoke them. When you provoke them, it's usually when you're giving yourself an affirmation that's asking for something that block is keeping you from getting. Does that make sense? And that's why I wanted you to have this experience of good feeling, icky feeling in the background. Now, before you do any other manifesting work going forward, the first thing you do is do what? You change your state. What do we change it to? Pleasure works really well. And now you have that tool. So the moment first of all, you have to decide what you want. Then you have to get your state right. You have to get your state right. So I gave you a very quick and easy way to do that. Now in our CPI and Killer Influence classes, we go way down the rabbit hole. We make you a Jedi when it comes to anytime, anywhere, under any circumstances. Right? But are we cool so far? Has this been useful? Type in the chat if this has been useful so far. Perfect. Right. If you got nothing from this webinar about how to do this, you're way ahead of the game. Okay? But we're not going to stop there. Now, everything human beings desire is recorded inside your mind and body. It's connected to your value system. Okay? We have a process we teach in Identity by Design, in Hidden Laws of Attraction, and in Killer Influence and CPI, called the Emotional Motivation or Emotional Bonding Checklist. If we're using this process on ourselves, we call it the Emotional Motivation Checklist. If we're using it with other people, let's say you want to motivate or inspire people to become a client, or to go out with you, or to give you a job or a promotion, you would use the emotional bonding version with another human being to get them emotionally connected and bonded to what you want for their own reasons, and everybody wins, right? When you're using this for yourself, for manifestation practices, we call it the Emotional Motivation Checklist. Does that make sense? I apologize if the recording is freezing. There's something to do with the internet. I don't have any real control over that. All right. So for this next drill, what I want you to do is I want you to use your mind again. Okay. First of all, breathe a good healthy dose of your pleasure color through your body so you're in the right state. And I want you to think about something for me. When you registered for this webinar, when you signed up for it, you had in your mind something that you really, really wanted, that you needed tools for, that you wanted a process, a program to follow to get what you want. Would that be true or not true? If it's true, type it in the chat. Okay. I want you to stop for a moment, close your eyes, and imagine that you've followed all of the instructions on this webinar. You've taken every step, you've done everything we've taught you to do, right? You've acquired whatever we've asked you to acquire in terms of experience, product, content, whatever, and you've applied them out in the real world. And I want you to step into that future version of yourself. I want you to see the world through those eyes. I want you to hear the world through those ears. Smell, taste, experience that person through the eyes and the body of that human being who's done all those things. Live vicariously a few days in that life. Notice what that's like. Okay? Now, here's where I want you to do next. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to speak the answer out loud. Don't write it down. Don't type it in the chat. Just speak it out loud. What's important to you about this, about getting this? And again, I don't need to hear it. I just need you to do it. Okay? What's important to you about getting this? And imagine that's true, and you get that. What will that do for you? What will that allow you to experience? And what's important about that? And speak it out loud. And then imagine that's true for you now. You've done whatever it took to get it. And you've got that. What does that do? So you have what's important about, what will that do for you? What's important about that, what will that do for you? Does that make sense? So you ask the same question 3 times, but I want you to notice that your answers might change. In fact, you're probably feeling quite emotional if you're doing this properly. True or not true? Type that in the chat. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to remember your answers. Get out a piece of paper. Write those answers that you spoke verbally out loud. No one else is going to see them but you. I want you to take those 3 answers, and I want you to write them on a piece of paper in front of you. And type done in the chat when you're done, so I know. Okay, perfect. Now, take that piece of paper. I want you to hold it up at about a 45-degree angle, like so. Right? Sorry, my virtual reality screen is not working with me. Right? I want you to read those 3 lines out loud 5 times. As loud as possible, I want you to read them out loud 5 times. And when you type that in the chat, or when you're done, type that in the chat. You're done? Okay. Now, what happened when you did that? When you spoke those things out loud? What happened? You got warm? Done? Okay. What did you feel in your body? You feel eternal? Very good. Smiles? Tears? Very good. If you're getting emotional, you did it right. Here's why. Everything human beings do is recorded like a checklist in your nervous system. And you move through the world looking to check boxes off your checklist. The more boxes you check, the happier you feel. And that is the energy that drives people to achieve. That's the energy that you can use to send out and prime your affirmations, prime your behaviors, to fuel your manifestation techniques. It's the most powerful energy you have. It's the truest energy you have. It's what allows you to become your best version of yourself. Now, as you apply that to what we're about to talk about, which is part 2 of our webinar, you can get every single thing that you just expressed to the universe. Would that be cool? Yes or yes? All right. Now, one more thing before we go. How many of you noticed, as you were stating things to the universe, icky feelings coming up in the background? Anybody? Nope. Okay. Bad memories? Okay, good. That's fine. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. A little bit of worry, that's fine. Write those down. Why? Because in part 3 of the webinar, we're going to show you how to get rid of them. If you felt powerful, perfect. You are actually doing something that was fully in alignment with your internal environment. If you had icky feelings in the background, there's some stuff in the way. That little nagging feeling that you experienced, that's just your nervous system saying, hey, if you want this, you got to clear this first. That's all it's saying to you. You're not broken. I know sometimes it feels that way. But those little nagging feelings are like the check engine light on your dashboard. Right? When you're driving down the road and the check engine light goes on, you don't run to the garage or the auto repair shop to get the light fixed. Because the light means something, doesn't it? Well, we're going to show you through our technologies how to clear that shit, how to get the light to reset itself, right? But with your permission, at the beginning of our webinar, I told you that I would take you as far as I could in the time we have, and I would point you in the direction of how to level up, how to take it to the next level. We're at that point now. Are you guys willing and ready to see what I've prepared for you so you can, in fact, level up your life? Would that be a good next step? Perfect. All right. So if you're ready to take things to the next level, let me present to you, without further ado, dun, da, 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 with your permission, the Hidden Laws of Attraction, Ultimate Manifestation Mastery, Magnetic Mind Control Training Home Study Course. This is a course that I specifically put together during COVID so that people could learn from home how to manifest anything that they wanted, right? And it's amazing, and I really, really hope you'll enjoy it and gain tremendous benefits from following all the instructions in it. So what does this actually include for us? First and foremost, the Hidden Laws of Attraction, the Ultimate Manifestation Mastery Home Study Course, is all about helping you take your life to the next level. It's about making more money, getting more deals, getting more dates, helping more people, being the best version of yourself, feeling more confident and powerful, charming, charismatic, to take the randomness out of your life, right? Because one of the most powerful things you can do is control your vibration. And the moment you can control your vibration and you can control your mind, you can reach out to the universe, and the universe will bring things to you. It will clear blocks from your life. It will bring the right kinds of people into your life, and then life will just keep getting better. You will activate divine timing in a way that you'll just blow your mind, right? So this offer is good until December 30th, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. tonight. And here's what it is. The Hidden Laws of Attraction, Ultimate Manifestation Mastery Home Study Course will teach you all about how to unlock the power of your subconscious mind to quickly manifest anything you desire. And find and remove blocks to your health, wealth, success, and happiness you didn't even know you had. We've already started on that, but there's a whole system that we're pulling from that allows you to do this. Become ultra magnetic for money. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, that's a typo. That's March, by the way, I'm sorry. Become ultimately magnetic for money. We're going to talk about beliefs of that hold people back for money. Influence people remotely. This is actually part of our vibrational influence course, as well as our hidden laws of attraction course. How to find and remove hidden negativity. The stuff you didn't even know was there. The stuff I taught you about today is just the beginning. It's the tip of a very large iceberg. And we'll teach you systematically how to clear up those issues that just don't seem to go away. If you've ever had a problem that was bothering you, and you went to somebody and they fixed it, and on the way home or a couple of days later, it came back, we're going to show you how to make that stuff go away forever. Okay? There's a process called safety rules that are usually in place that the subconscious mind installs to keep you from doing something that could potentially hurt you, and it doesn't understand the difference. So we'll teach it to do something different in that context. I want to teach you a powerful new information method. This is the way to give affirmations that absolutely supercharge your subconscious mind. We're going to do one or two of them in part 3 of the webinar just so you can understand, but there's levels to this. And once you understand this process, your nervous system will amplify any message and act on it that you give it. Okay? It'll allow you to attract things you want and change. It will supercharge all of your affirmation and manifestation processes, and it just gets stronger the longer you do it. We're going to teach you how to install the traits, qualities, and characteristics of naturally lucky people. And one of the very first ones that we gave you was that playful, easygoing, let's see what happens attitude. That's actually one of the core characteristics that all lucky people have. There's 4 or 5 more, right? We'll teach you about those in Hidden Laws of Attraction. We're going to teach you the most powerful manifestation engine I have ever discovered. As powerful as information is, image cycling is even more powerful. I have manifested patently impossible stuff using this particular process. Many of my students have similar stories. For those of you who've used image cycling to manifest something for yourself, go ahead and type your experiences in the chat so other people can read. Okay? If you've seen my latest YouTube video, Funny Law of Attraction stories, a good chunk of those were the result of an image cycling process. Okay? It really, to me, is one of the most powerful manifestation tools I've ever discovered, and it actually forms the engine of a lot of other practices in various metaphysical and magical systems. And there's so much more that we teach in this class. Okay? And you'll get first-hand access to it. It's a $1,497 value, but of course, as you can probably guess, since this is a package, to quote the Ronco commercials, there's more. If you grab your course now before March 30th, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. Yes, I saw the typo. Thank you for letting me know. You're also going to get these amazing bonuses as well. So first and foremost, we're going to throw in one of my most powerful energetic and vibrational influence courses that I've ever taught. This is Vibrational Influence United Kingdom. This was a 5-day vibrational influence class. It has 2 full days of extra bonus content. Our usual vibrational influence class is a 3-day. We taught for 5. During this particular course, you will learn how to unlock the secret powers of your subconscious mind, to gain control of your mind and body in ways you never thought possible, how to unlock your unlimited potential, harness the forces of the universe to do your bidding, and actually generate phenomena. So we'll talk about a system known as Kuji In or Kuji Kiri, which is a mudra system, and how to energize that using the image cycling technology so that you can manifest more strength, more emotional resilience, more power, manifest things faster, control and harmonize your energy and the energies of other people in a room. Again, if you've ever seen that weird ninja hand signals, right? There's a whole metaphysical system behind that, and during Vibrational Influence UK, we give you the first 5. So you can actually start developing these abilities in yourself. We teach you how to get harmony with the elements, how to actually change. You can actually make yourself heavier and lighter, generate heat, generate lightness, how to use sound to influence the energy systems of the human body. You'll see that actually demonstrated. How to breathe fear and resistance and pain and all these other energies out of your body completely. We can use this to remotely influence people, how to heal yourself and others, clear your chakras and master your own energy field, manifest anything you want, increase your psychic skills, and much, much, much more. Okay? Everybody who's seen this class, who was at this class, has been in love with it. I can't tell you too much about it. There's actually, if I remember correctly, there's actually a 2 or 3 hour block in there. We'll have a guest presenter. Her name is Diana. She's one of the top dowsers in the United Kingdom. She actually taught during this class on how to use dowsing to find things and discover things about yourself. Great class. It's a $1,597 value. We're going to give this to you absolutely free if you're one of the next few people to grab this Hidden Laws of Attraction Mind Control Mastery Home Study course. Okay, its total value so far is $3,094 if you were to buy these individually on the website. But of course, as you can probably expect, there's more. We're also going to throw in one of our flagship courses. This is actually one of our newest courses. This is Vibrational Healing. And this was a 3-day deep dive into the art and science of energy healing from a Hermetics perspective. In other words, when we look at energy healing disciplines, we see Reiki, and we see pranic healing, and we see Qigong healing, or Chinese medical healing, Qigong therapies, DNA theta healing. All of these models of energy healing have strengths and weaknesses. In this deep dive into the art and science of energy healing, we explain all the different aspects of these approaches to energy healing, how they're good for certain things, where they're weak in other areas, and how to integrate them into a unified system of energy healing that you can apply anytime, anywhere, under any circumstance, both in person as well as remotely. So you'll learn how to unlock the powers of your subconscious mind, once again, to remove the energetic blocks to health, wealth, and happiness that you didn't even know that you had. How to become a master of energy healing and just keep building on those foundations. How to heal people remotely. And we actually hook you up to machines like blood pressure machines, thermometers, things like that, so you can actually measure the changes that you were inducing in people. Okay, I think during this class we actually had somebody raising and lowering people's body temperatures and blood pressure in like 20 seconds of training. It was really fun. I think Seth actually did that out in the hallway. We're going to teach you some powerful new energy control methods for programming your mind, and how to use your energy bodies to empower your healing and manifestation skills for maximum results in minimum time. We're going to teach you once again how to remove and sanitize the negativity from your past and from all the different levels of your energy body in an integrated way. We're going to discover secrets of psychic and vibrational self-defense, how to protect yourself from people who are trying to throw whammies at you, whether consciously or unconsciously or deliberately. And there's levels to this. Okay? And of course, we're going to focus more again on the most powerful personal transformation engine of manifestation, image cycling that we know of, and much, much more. So once again, this was brand new for 2021. We only offer this once in a great while. $1,997 value. We're going to give it to you absolutely free. Total combined value is $5,091. Okay, if you were to buy these things individually on the website, but there's still more. Today, we're going to also throw in one of our most important courses on vibrational alchemy. This is called Secrets of Personality Transformation. This is a course that we originally taught as a way of doing personal alchemy, or self-hypnosis work. It's about how to remove the blocks to your success, how to reprogram your subconscious mind at will, how to remove blocks and limiting beliefs, find and remove the hidden negativity you didn't even know you had, clear up issues that just don't seem to go away. I can't read my own writing here. Resolve negativity from your past and install the traits, qualities, and characteristics of people you want to be more like. So this is a 7-stage identity by design silo that we developed for personal transformation work. It utilizes an integrative neurolinguistic hypnotic energy psychology format that allows you to tap into the true power of your nervous system and redesign your own sense of personality and identity within 7.5 minutes. It takes 3 days to train you. Once you've been through the whole 3-day process, you can do the entire system from start to finish in 7.5 minutes, and you can make any change, practically any change that you want. It's a $2,497 value. We're going to give this to you absolutely free because, once again, when we start looking at manifestation, there's 2 types of thoughts. There's thoughts you know about, and there's thoughts you don't. And many of the thoughts that you don't know about are your belief systems. We're going to show you, and those belief systems actually create your identity. We're going to show you how to customize and redesign your sense of identity so that you can become the kind of person that you want to be instead of the person that school, family, culture, and other forms of indoctrination have conspired to make you. This is your e-ticket out of psychological slavery and bondage and into one of personal empowerment. I highly, highly recommend, for no other reason, that you get this course. When you register before the end of the webinar, total combined value is $7,588 if you were to buy things individually, but you can get it all for one low cost, one low investment. Now, we're also going to include one of our newest courses. This course, we taught it live twice, and this is a recording of our most successful virtual class. This is the Hidden Laws of Attraction Soulmate Secrets Invitation Only Masterclass. This is a class that dives deeply in utilizing all of the different systems we talk about in personality transformation and hidden laws of attraction. It's going to teach you in a very systematic way the differences between the way chemistry affects your neurology so that you can figure out who's right and who's not right. Let me just get my notes a little bit stronger here so I can see things a little bit better. We're going to teach you how to overcome the soulmate myth. We're going to talk about how different cultures talk about the soulmate system and how it works and how it doesn't work, right? We'll talk about soul families. We'll talk about twin flames, all those other things. We're going to teach you how to eliminate negative relationship programming from your childhood, how to prepare yourself to communicate more effectively with your partners, techniques to move you from infatuation to love, how to accept change, how to determine what you need in a relationship, how to identify obstacles to your intimacy and then conquer them. We're going to teach you how to discover why you're attracted to certain types of people. Even the one thing, how many of you have ever dated the same person with a different face? If that's you, then this is the class you want to be in. You'll discover the qualities you most want in your life partner, qualities you didn't even know you wanted until you were put through this process. You'll learn the basics of communication patterns and ways to demonstrate your love and to teach your partner how to demonstrate their love in such a way that you actually feel heard, understood, connected with. You'll discover the difference between sex and sexuality, sensuality, and the role each plays in your relationship. And you'll discover you'll learn how to identify potential relationship challenges and how to handle them, right? You'll be amazed how the chemistry of your body can actually contribute to the infatuation that you feel, how to overcome the many myths and misconceptions around soulmates, and so much more. This is a class that has probably 25 or 30 different modules to it, and integrated into those modules are all the exercises that allow you to discover who you really are and who you really want and need in a partner, and ways to actually go about attracting them. It's really powerful. I'm hoping in maybe 2024 or the end of 2023 to do a live version of this class, but there's just no time in our 2022 calendar to do this class live again, so we are giving you the next best thing. We are giving you all of the actual videos and all of the handouts and every single drill and URL that we ran these people through as part of this amazing new bonus package. It's a $1,950 value. We're going to give it to you absolutely free if you're one of the next few people to register before the end of the webinar. Okay? Total value now, if you were to add it all up, is $9,538. So let's just review really quick what the Hidden Law of Attraction Ultimate Manifestation Mastery Home Study Course is really about. The Hidden Laws of Attraction 2020 live training. You'll see me doing this stuff live in Las Vegas. It's a $1,497 value. We're going to include your first bonus is the Vibrational Influence United Kingdom Special Edition, right? With 2 days of bonus content. It's a $1,597 value. We're going to throw in Vibrational Healing 2021 for those of you who have a therapy practice, a coaching practice, and want to become better at energy healing. This is the class you really want to pay attention to. If you're interested in all that other cool Jedi stuff, like ninja stuff, focus on the Vibrational Influence UK course. It's a $1,997 value. We're also going to throw in Secrets of Personality Transformation, which is going to give you all the shit clearing drills and personality modification techniques that you need and want to clear that crap out of your life and become a powerful, unstoppable manifestation engine. It's a $2,497 value. And finally, the super bonus, the Hidden Laws of Attraction Soulmate Secrets Masterclass. It's a $1,950 value. We're going to throw it in absolutely free. Total combined value is $9,538. $538, right? But of course, it's a webinar. There's a lot going on in the world. I want everybody to be able to utilize this to the best of their ability. So for today only, I want to give you the best deal humanly possible. You're not going to have to pay $9,538. Nope, you're not even going to have to pay $7,347. We're going to take another $2,000 off. We're going to drop it down to $5,547. It's a bonus, a bargain at this, but we're not even going to charge you that much. $3,347? $1,347? Not even that. For those of you who want the biggest law of attraction bang for your buck, you can get it all for one low investment of just $997, or if you need to, you can break that up into 3 easy installments of just $397. And all you got to do is go to davidsnydernlp.com/hidden laws of attraction, HLOA. That's www.davidsnydernlp.com/HLOA. For those of you in our YouTube channel who are asking me about this, let me go ahead and put that link in there for you. Just go to this link right here in the YouTube chat, www.davidsnydernlp.com/HLOA. One of the things that often holds people back is this idea that they don't deserve it. And one of the things that happens many times is that this idea that we don't deserve to have the things we want manifests as it takes too long, costs too much money. And when you hear those things in your head, what's really happening is your unconscious mind is saying you don't deserve it. Well, if you want something different, you got to do something different. You got to take action. And I believe very, very much from the bottom of my heart that the behavior that gets rewarded gets repeated. The behavior that gets repeated gets reinforced. And I want to reward you for standing up, for taking charge of your life, for doing something different. And so for those of you who are truly ready to make a change, who want to get started, who want my help to do it, I want to give you a 60-day guarantee. I want you to go ahead and grab this course for yourself. If after 60 days you're not on the fast track to making more money, finding the love that you want, attracting more success, manifesting the life of your dreams, if you're not rapidly taking the randomness out of your life and bringing the results into it that you truly want, if you're not satisfied after 60 days, I'll refund every dime. You have absolutely nothing to risk here. If you're not satisfied, we don't want your money. But if you know you need a change, if you're ready for it, you risk absolutely nothing by taking the next step. And as a special reward for the next 27 people who grab this offer, I'm going to include these special fast action bonuses, but you have to grab them before December 3rd. Oh my God, I'm sorry. March 30th, 2022. March 30th, 2022. I don't know how this typo got in here. I corrected this like 4 times. Fast action bonuses. First and foremost, one of the most important things that you can get in Planet David is hands-on training. When people come to me and they say, David, I looked at your courses on your website and I noticed that the price points between your live events and your video events are very, very similar. And I'm kind of torn. Should I come to the live event or should I just do the video training? And without batting an eye, without hesitation, the first thing I do is I look at them and I say, get your ass to the live events. And they go, really? I go, yes. And here's why. At the live events, I can observe you. I can interact with you. I can customize drills to help you through your sticking points. I can make extra drills. You work with people in real time, in real life, and produce real results, right? Can't do that on a video because for everything you get from me, you're always going to pay twice. The first one is the tuition. You can always make more money. The second one is what takes you from access to ownership, and that's time, energy, and effort to actually do the drills and get the skills. Nothing prepares you for that like a live event, like hands-on training in the real world. So what we did, because a lot of people can't travel, because a lot of people are, limited, we decided to give you the next best thing. And that's the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. So let me explain to you what this is. On the third Saturday of every month, since 2010, we have gotten together either in person or virtually. And I literally go around the room and I say, Seth, what do you want to learn? Jeff, what do you want to learn? Josh, what do you want to learn? Jason, what do you want to learn? Stephanie, what do you want to learn? You're going to tell me what you want to learn. I'm going to write those things on the board. I'm going to look at everything that's written. I'm going to create a lesson plan for you as a group on the spot. And we're going to drill you on those skills until you can do them in your sleep. Doesn't matter if you're in person or virtually. You can practice. You can roll up your sleeves. You can do the drills to get the skills in real time. We meet on the third Saturday of every month for 4 hours. Actually longer than 4 hours because people just skip lunch. They just work right through it. Right? Some people are saying, where's the link? Where's the link? Anyway, I'll let those guys handle it. But here's the thing. We've been running this program. You won't get a certificate from the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program. What you will get is a skill set. You'll get to hang out with cool people just like you who like to do cool stuff. And you will get to learn and practice and make that final payment. The one that takes you from access to ownership. And once you own it, you have a power, an ability, a skill set that will always serve you whenever you choose to use it. That can never be taken away. And you'll be making some cool friends. Anybody in the mastermind who's had some experiences, go ahead and share your experiences. But that's not the best part, as cool as that is, right? We've been doing this class every month since October of 2010. We have videotaped and recorded each and every one of those training sessions since 2010. And we've archived them on the NLP Power website, our private Facebook page, and on our YouTube channel. As a trial member, you get 3-month trial membership to the NLP Power program and unlimited access for that full 90 days to the entire 11 years of archived video. You can binge watch it to your heart's content. Content that's never, ever been seen on YouTube in most cases. And it covers everything. It covers everything. Law of attraction, regression therapy, hypnotherapy, marketing, attraction, dating, energy healing, right? If it involves the mind and the body, we've probably taught something on it over the course of 11 years. You can binge watch that content to your heart's content. On the third Saturday of every month, you get to come in virtually or in person, because we're going to start doing in-person sessions again if you're in the San Diego area. And we're going to do the exact same thing. What do you want to learn today? I'm going to write it on the screen. I'm going to create a lesson plan on the spot, and just with the rest of the group, you're going to drill those skills until you can do it in your sleep. You're going to go back out into the world. You're going to apply those skills. If you like it, if you like working out with people, making cool friends who like to do cool stuff, grab this. If after 90 days you decide that it's the coolest thing since sliced bread, let us know, and we'll show you how to extend your membership. If you don't, well, you had a good time, right? It's a $1,597 value. We're going to give it to you absolutely free for taking a shot on you, for taking a chance on these materials. If you liked half of the things, any of the things that we've shown you so far, you're going to love the NLP Mastermind Mentoring Program. It will take you to the next level. Don't take my word for it. Listen to the people in your chats. Okay? Hold on a second. I think I just screwed something up there. I just lost my chat from my YouTube station. Anyway, but there's more. Let's keep going. We're also going to give you, so total combined value is $11,135, but we're not stopping there. For those of you who are ready to take action, to take your life to the next level, we're also going to throw in one of our most popular courses. This is the Attraction Mastery Dating, Mating, and Relating Skills for Men and Women. This is a class that literally walks you through the process of transforming your inner mind and reality to becoming more attractive mentally, physically, and emotionally. That overcomes limiting beliefs, teaches you how to approach, teaches you the big factors that hold men back, teaches the biggest factors that hold women back from finding the relationships that they truly want. It's based on our Killer Influence technology, which, as you've seen, was the #1 training program in the world. 4 years running, really. No, 3 years running. 2 years. 2020, 21, 20, 20. My math sucks. This is why I'm a hypnotist, right? And it's a co-ed class. So you will actually see people practicing together and learning these skills and how to actually maximize their dating and relationship success in minimum time. It's a really cool class. We've been getting, people have been screaming. We taught it once 2 years ago. People have been screaming for it ever since. We're going to give you a copy of this absolutely free. And we included this particular course because when we offered the Soulmate Secrets course, one of the things we discovered was that people wanted to find their soulmate, but they didn't have the practical skills necessary to hook them, male or female. And so we decided to teach this class, or add this class to the program, so that you have that yin and yang balance. You have the ability to know what you want, how to sort for it, where to look for it, but also the requisite physical skills that you need to actually get the person you want interested in you back, right? So this actually balances out our Soulmate Secrets course. This is why we're including it as a fast action course. Hold on a second. I need to go back to my YouTube channel. I accidentally closed a link on them, and anyway. Oh, okay. That was actually useful. Let me find this. I just give me 1 minute, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want my YouTubers to get left out. Okay. Once again, my apologies. Fast action bonus number 2 is a $1,997 value. It's the Attraction Mastery Dating, Mating, and Relating Skills for Men and Women. I only teach attraction skills in a co-ed format. I will not do classes that are just for men or just for women. I want men and women in the same room so they can understand how what they're doing and how they're behaving is being perceived by the opposite gender, so that they can make better choices, so they can understand, so men and women can understand each other better. Now, when I say men and women, I don't care what your gender preference or gender choice is. In any given relationship, there will be someone who takes on a more masculine aspect, there will be someone who takes on a more feminine aspect. It doesn't matter what your gender preference is. You need to understand both sides, the yin and yang of relationships, and that's what this course is about. Okay? Total combined value. If you looked at every single thing we've talked about today, total combined value is $13,132. Okay? But we're not going to stop there. For those of you, next 27 people who grabbed this course today, I haven't offered one of these particular tickets in a long time. This is a VIP super ticket. Now, what we've been doing for the past few months when we've been doing our webinars, we've been offering a super ticket to a specific event. This super ticket will get you into any single 5-day event or less, as long as you have the prereqs for it. So with this VIP super ticket, if you want to come to Identity by Design, you show us this ticket, you walk right to the front of the room. You want to come to Vibrational Influence, 3-day class. Come, show us the ticket, you get to come in. Even if the class is sold out, we'll find a seat for you. Right? You want to come to hypnotherapy, you want to come to Killer Influence, you want to any class that's 5 days or less, provided you have the prerequisites for it, you can use this VIP ticket to attend. Now, let me just elaborate a little bit about why this freaking ticket is so super cool. First and foremost, it's a $2,250 value. That's full price of any of our current classes, except for our 7-day class NLP trainings or the 7-day Vibrational Influence class that we're doing in Costa Rica, which is sold out, which is why we're not talking about it. The way this VIP ticket works is all you have to do is be in our database as owning this super ticket. It does not expire. So if you get this ticket today, and it takes you 3 years to come to an event, you get it in 2022, you can't get to a live event until 2025, this VIP ticket is still good. I've had people who've gotten these tickets at HypnoThoughts Live or something like that. They call me up 4 years later. They say, hey man, I got this ticket at the hypnosis convention. I want to come to one of your classes. I finally have some time. Can I come? I said, come on in. Even if the class is sold out, we'll find a seat for you. Let's say something happens at the last minute, right? You're getting ready to come to a training and all of a sudden another round of COVID restrictions come along, or your governor declares martial law, or your asshole boss decides to make you work, or you're sick, or something like that. All you got to do is pick up the phone or send an email to Stephanie, and we will move you to another training. You own this ticket until you actually use it. If you want, you can gift it to another person. If you know somebody who you think would really benefit from this ticket, we've had people buy 3 and 4 webinar packages so they could give the VIP tickets to their friends, right? That's cool too. It's transferable that way, okay? There are some restrictions. If there's a class you want to come to, you got to make sure you've satisfied any prereqs. Not all of our classes have prereqs, but some do. And we encourage you to satisfy those prereqs in person before using your VIP ticket to come to a higher level class. Also, any class that's more than 7 days or that I'm co-teaching with another trainer, certain restrictions do apply. Stephanie can fill you in on those. But anything else is fair game. Let's say at the last minute, there's a training you wanted to come to, but your schedule wouldn't fill up, and all of a sudden, your schedule frees up and you can come, but the class is full. If you present this VIP ticket to us, we will actually find a seat for you. We're actually doing that right now for a couple of our students who want to come to Costa Rica. There were special considerations that we do that for, but not many. But again, Stephanie can actually help you with that. So the price points, by and large, no longer matter. Travel is starting to open up again. And so we'll be doing, we have every intention of doing trainings in Australia, doing trainings in UK, doing trainings in Europe. And when we go to a training in the UK or Cyprus, we always do our trainings in the currency of that particular region. So if we go into a training in Peterborough, United Kingdom, the tuition for the seminar is going to be in pound sterling. If we go and do an identity by design in Cyprus or Amsterdam, the tuition is going to be paid in euros, right? And you know there's quite a significant difference in the exchange rate between the US dollar and euros and pound sterling. If you have one of these VIP tickets, it doesn't matter. You get to walk right to the front of the room and participate in the class, okay? You have it until you use it. It does not expire. If something happens at the last minute, we move you to another training. If you want to come at the last minute, we'll find a seat for you. It's really, really cool. And you don't even need to know what class you want to come to right now. I encourage you to do either Identity by Design or Killer Influence. But as long as it's 5 days or less and there's no prerequisite that you need to satisfy for it, whatever you want, you use that ticket, we'll find a place for you. Okay? Total value for this ticket is $2,250 value. Now these fast action bonuses, I have to warn you, the first set of packages that I ordered, the Hidden Laws of Attraction, Vibrational Influence UK, Vibrational Healing, Hidden Laws of Attraction, Soulmate Secrets, that package is available until 11:59 p.m. tonight, March 30th. Okay, I know the PowerPoint said December. I don't know how that happened because I know I've changed those months at least twice, so I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, it's March 30th, 11:59 p.m. tonight. The fast action bonuses, the ones I just finished talking about, the NLP Power 3-month Mastermind trial membership and archive, the VIP super ticket, and of course the Attraction Mastery 4-day training. Those all go away when I log off tonight's webinar, right? Still a great deal, but like I said before, I really believe this, that the behavior that gets rewarded gets repeated, the behavior that gets repeated gets reinforced, and so I want to reward you for standing up and taking charge of your life. I want you to get the best deal humanly possible and have every opportunity to take your life to the next level, okay? Total combined value you can't get the VIP ticket on the website, by the way. Total combined value for everything in tonight's training is $15,382. And all you got to do to get yours, right? Once again, here's what we got. Hidden Laws of Attraction 2020, $1,497 value. Vibrational Influence UK, $1,597 value. Vibrational Healing 2021, $1,997 value. We're going to give these to you free. Secrets of Personal Transformation, $2,497 value. We're going to give it to you free. Hidden Laws of Attraction, Soulmate Secrets Masterclass. This was a by invitation only class, by the way. $1,950 value. We're going to give it to you free. The Attraction Mastery 4-day skills intensive. $1,997 value. We're going to give it to you free. The NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Group Trial, $1,597. We're going to give it to you free. And then finally, the VIP Super Ticket, your choice of any single live event of 5 days or less on our 2023, 2024 calendar, 2022 calendar, whatever calendar it is. You can use this for classes we haven't even scheduled yet. It's a $2,250 value. We're going to include this as part of your package, absolutely free. Total value is $15,382. All you got to do to get yours is one low installment of just $997, or if you need help, we can break that up into 3 easy payments of just $397 each. And all you got to do to get yours is go to www.davidsnydernlp/HLOA. That's davidsnydernlp.com/HLOA. I'm going to put these in the chat once more. I know that some people are putting a different link in there. I'm not sure what happened, but use whatever link works. All right. So that being said, here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to give us about a 6 or 7 minute break. David went to the link, no option for payments. Do you need to get a hold of Stephanie? Yes, reach out to Stephanie right now. Let her know what's going on. Make sure you leave your contact information on her voicemail. Right? Here's the deal. It's okay to call Stephanie. It's 858-282-4663. When you call, make sure that you leave your contact information. If you call and you leave your contact information, you will get credit towards the fast action bonuses. If you do not leave your contact information and she has to track you down, and or you call back tomorrow, you will not qualify for the fast action bonuses. You won't get the VIP Super Ticket. You won't get the Attraction Mastery Home Study Course. You will not get the NLP Power Trial membership. Okay? Leave your contact information. She turns things around in less than 24 hours most of the time. All you need to do is go to www.davidsnydernlp.com/HLOA. What we're going to do now, while you're getting that taken care of, we're going to give you a 7-minute break. We're going to come back. Actually, we'll give you an 8-minute break. We'll come back at 5:45. And when we do, we're going to pick up where we left off. We're going to pick up with how to work with this emotional bonding checklist. We're going to work on how to clearing the blocks to success. We're going to do a little bit more with state control. And we're going to start to customize the content of tonight's webinar to focus on what you want to focus on most specifically. Okay? So, like I said, we'll be back at 5:45. We will see you then. Hey, welcome back. Hey, my apologies for the weirdness. I guess we're human after all. The universe is trying to keep me humble. So for those of you who had any questions about the numbers on the checkout page, the numbers that we showed on the webinar here are the ones that you will be credited for. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. All right, it's time to get back to training. So here's what I'd like you to do right now. Hey, Hoist. Is it Royce or Royce? I forget if it's the Brazilian R or the perfect. Royce like Rolls. Okay. Rolls. Okay, perfect. Royce. Welcome aboard. All right. So we're in part 3 of the webinar now. This is your webinar. Okay. While our people fix the pages and get you guys, again, make sure if you want this package, make sure you reach out to Stephanie directly. And she will make sure that Sophie is from Venezuela. Welcome. Perfect. All right, this is part 3. This is where we start to take the foundations that we covered in part 1, and we start applying them to the specific areas that you want to work on. So, if you would be so kind, type in the chat what you want to focus on today for this part of the webinar. So removing blocks for love and success, okay. Law of attraction, well, this whole webinar is on law of attraction, Robin. State control, okay. Attracting money and investments, okay. Come on, I know there's more people in here than that. Yes, state control. Okay, you guys want to do a little bit more with state control? All right. I like everything you have. Well, thank you, Robin. Robin, you've been one of our biggest supporters for the longest time. Susan says self-confidence. Okay. Diana says I want to focus on how to feel safe. I let myself go due to trauma of being attractive. Okay. Okay. Sandra says yes. Feeling the rapport connection with magnetics. Okay. Cash flow. Keep focused. I agree. Right at Seth, you said that before regards to sell. Okay. Remove blocks. All right. Let's drill down. So first and foremost, I want to talk to you about certain prerequisites. Now, one of the things that we ran you through at the beginning of the webinar was this concept of vibration, right? And one of the things I said that all of these different disciplines and all these different cultural mystical practices and the self-help movement and all of these things, where do they all meet? Where does the human belief systems and language and all the moving parts that form our true reality, where do they all meet? They meet at your autonomic nervous system. So the first thing I want you to understand is if we want to remove blocks to our success, and I don't care if they're blocks for money, love, self-confidence, I don't care what they are, regardless of what your issue is or your attributes are, your nervous system has built them all the same way. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me show you. Okay. What I'm about to show you is something we focus on specifically in Secrets of Personality Transformation, as well as Hidden Laws of Attraction. And this is known as the Proprioceptive Grid. Okay. We talk a lot about this in our face reading classes. And I want you to understand this really, really well. Human beings do not live in reality. We live in a very well crafted, very well constructed metaphor of reality. And that reality is created and projected from inside of you through the lens of your autonomic nervous system. So when we look at what we call primary experience, okay? So we'll just use a circle P for this. What is a primary experience? Okay, I'm driving down the road minding my own business, happy as a clam. All of a sudden, boom, car T-bones me. That's a primary experience, right? Well, here's the thing we need to understand. That primary experience, getting T-boned by the car, and again, I'm using that as a metaphor. It could be anything. It could be meeting a pretty girl. It could be spilling your coffee at work. Whatever. That primary experience happens, and then it's done. You understand that? It happens, and then it's done. It's gone. It's over. It can't come back, right? That's a primary experience. But what happens is the moment you have that primary experience, your neurology does something very interesting. It takes a recording, it makes a recording of that primary experience and recreates it inside your neurology, inside your nervous system. And that's the part that doesn't go away. That's the part that keeps you fucked up for years, because you've been treating it, your neurology's been treating it like the recording it made of that moment that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago is the real thing. You following me so far? Type yes in the chat if you're following me. This is going to get deep. I apologize in advance, but it's going to get deep. Okay? Now here's what's interesting. How many of you have ever had a fantasy? Daydream? Great idea. A belief, positive or negative. Want to know something interesting? Those beliefs, those fantasies, those ideas, those beliefs, positive or negative, are built exactly the same way the trauma was. They're built from the same stuff. How does that work? Let me show you. First thing that happens is you have a primary experience. It passes through the filter, the prism of your nervous system. Let me go back to this really quick. How many of you have ever heard me talk about what I call holographic memory theory? How many of you are familiar with that? Anybody? Okay. The human nervous system, and I'm not just talking about the organic part of it, I'm talking about the vibrational aspects of it as well, act like a prism more than anything else. When we talk about vibration, we're always talking about higher vibrations, lower vibrations. What the hell does that actually mean? We're talking about density. We're talking about the frequency at which something is moving. Slower frequencies are denser than higher frequencies. Prism, P-R-I-S-M. Right? So when information comes into us, vibrational data passes through the prism of our nervous system and it gets refracted. You follow me? It's refracted through these different densities. How many of you have ever seen a stream of sunlight passing through an aquarium or a creek bed? Anybody? When you see so the water line is here, right? That sunlight comes in here. But when you look underneath the water line, it's over here. How did that happen? Density causes light to change and bend. This is how face reading works, by the way. This is why, how many of you are familiar with face reading course? I call face reading vibrational Chinese psychotherapy, because you can use face reading to literally diagnose a person's entire mental, physical, and emotional health. And the moment you start unpacking a trauma line and you successfully resolve it, the line goes away. The facial features change, and they change instantly. How can that be possible? It's because you're made out of light. And the moment your emotional density changes, the angle of refraction of that vibrational light that makes up your whole being changes too. And so you appear differently. How many people have ever heard the metaphysical sentence or the metaphysical concept that all centers are connected? Anybody ever hear that? Some of you may not be familiar with that. Okay. Well, you have these things called chakras, right? And each of these is supposed to be a center. But if all centers are connected, why are they at different spots? Different refractory levels. As the energy from that one universal center, source, passes through, different vibrational frequencies express themselves at different spatial locations through the prism of the human nervous system. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Everything. They're always connected. The question is, some are more active or less active than others. When your brain takes that primary experience, the T-bone of the car, it creates a recording of it. That recording is broken into 5 primary channels. Just like when white light passes through a prism, it breaks up into 5 bands, right? Red, orange, violet, green, yellow, right? When vibrational data passes through your nervous system, it's refracted in the process of being encoded into 5 channels: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory distinctions. That's what this little diagram shows us here. Right? You go from a primary experience through the prism of the subconscious and the autonomic nervous system into 5 channels. Now what happens is, once those channels are established, all of this data is reconstructed and put back together to create a memory, or a belief, or a trauma. What does that actually look like? Well, conceptually, it looks like this. This is what we call in Planet David a holographic memory unit, or holographic memory container. It has a vibrational substance. It has 5 primary channels of information. And then within each of those channels are smaller distinctions. That all comes together to create the story that you remember. Now, using the power, the techniques and hidden laws of attraction, the identity by design silo, the secrets of personality transformation protocol, we can change anything here. Why? Because it doesn't matter if if this thing is a trauma, a limiting belief, a value, a fantasy, pardon my typing, a daydream. Does not matter what it is. Every single one of those is built this way. Because it's built this way, we can change all of it. We literally can change all of it. Okay? So, going back to our proprioceptive grid. So what happens is, once this information is reconstituted, it's distributed throughout your body, like a cloud server distributes data of information. How many of you are familiar with cloud servers and how they work? Type it in the chat. It's okay if you're not. I'll give you my layman's version of it. But the way a cloud server works is you take a file, right? And you upload it to a server. And the first thing that happens is that server breaks up your file into billions and billions and billions of little pieces. Bits, for lack of a better word. And it spreads it out all over the internet to various other servers. When the time comes for you to download that information, a call goes out to all of those servers, and that information is pulled back and recreated on the spot and downloaded to your device. Well, we had that first. How many of you have ever gone to like a hypnotherapist or an EMDR person, or even a regression therapist, right? And you clear out this big chunk of stuff. And then you're going minding your own business a few days later, and you run across a similar situation that was related to what you cleared, and you got a little bit of a twinge. Like it wasn't nearly as strong as what the stuff you had before, but there was still a little bit of it there. Anybody ever have that experience? Go ahead and type in the chat if you did. It's okay. All right, I'm going to tell you why. You see, when that information is disseminated throughout your body like a cloud server, each of those fragments is a holographic fractal HMU. Just like that little, again, that's my conceptualization of it. But think of billions of them spread throughout the body. And each one has the whole, but just like if you look at a hologram in modern day, as you get smaller and smaller, you break it up into more and more bits, the clarity of it gets less and less. That's why it gets more diffused. Right? I don't want to get into all of that, but we are very much, we created most of the stuff internally before we created it externally. Hold on a second. Here's some weird. Okay, anyway. So here's the thing. Each and every time the call goes out and you reconstruct that memory, it changes. For those of you who study any kind of forensics or any kind of social psychology or forensic psychology, one of the things they tell you is that memories are not remembered. They're reconstructed. And every time you reconstruct them, they're changed. So the stuff you're walking around with isn't even accurate in terms of what actually happened to you. Right? Now, how does this all relate to everything I talked about before? Where does false memory come from? False memory happens as a byproduct of suggestions delivered by the interrogator or the interviewer. That's more or less what happens. And again, there's ways to flag for that. So there's some kind of weird conversation going on in the chat that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But my point is that human beings move through the world treating these recorded files as if they're the thing that actually happened to them. So one of the big delusions that human beings labor under is that their memories are real. That their memories are in fact the thing they're describing. And they're not. And every time you access that memory, it changes. So the shit that's been traumatizing you for 10, 15, 20 years may not even be accurately what happened. So human beings have two big delusions. The first one is that their memories are real. The shit that happened to you, the shit that traumatized you, is gone. The only thing left is the recording you made of it. And so you're not the way you are based on what happened to you. You're the way you are because of the way you encoded and recorded what happened to you and the way you've been relating to those recordings. And you have absolute control over everything. Does trauma? Yes, trauma containers store in the body. And each of those containers is like a little pocket dimension. Remember I said your dominant thoughts are on an endless loop? Right? Well, each of those little HMU units that I showed you is like a file running on an endless loop. The more of them you clear out, the more rapidly your system becomes healthier. The frequency you send out to the universe clarifies and solidifies and strengthens. So those little nagging feelings when you were doing your informations and stuff like that, those were those little trauma bubbles being stimulated so you could find them. You see, the only way to find these things many times is to provoke them. How do you provoke them? By focusing on the things you want. And this is again, something for those of you who are avid law of attraction practitioners. This is something that I really want you to get. Human beings move through the world with the equivalent of a jet engine and an anchor strapped to their back. Okay? The problem is that while some people focus on just putting more juice in the engine, which inevitably creates more drag, another segment of the population focuses almost exclusively on clearing the shit. And so what happens is they spend so much time finding stuff to fix, they never move forward. Their fix literally becomes a distraction for moving forward in life. So here's the methodology I would like you to functionally apply as you get the tools to clear. Continue to move forward. Continue to take action. Continue to endeavor to level up until you find something that gets in your way. When you find something that gets in your way specifically, nuke it. Get rid of it. Get back to moving forward until something else gets in your way. Because human beings have literally tens of thousands of years of emotional memory locked in their genome. So if you go looking for shit, you're going to find it. The question becomes, is that shit really holding you back, or is it just stuff you need to get around to at some point? So functionally, what you need to do is keep moving forward until something gets in your way. When it gets in your way, engage in the clearing process, fix it, continue to move forward. Does that make sense? Type it in the chat. Okay, I need you to really understand this because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to teach you some of the most powerful clearing things you can do on your own, and you're going to spend all your time clearing shit and start to believe that you can't move forward until everything's fixed. Well, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So again, clear your stuff. And again, a great way to figure this out is focus on what you want, notice what gets in the way, nuke that stuff, amplify what you want more, and take action on it. Are we clear? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. When we start dialoguing with our unconscious mind, what happens in that whole cloud server analogy, part of that information stays inside of us. It stays in our interoceptive nervous system. It's disseminated through our fascia and emerges as a body feeling whenever it's provoked. But part of it is also projected out into the energy fields around us. So part of the things that we have to do first is we have to connect our interoceptive nervous system with our proprioceptive nervous system, our exteroceptive nervous system. So one of the things we hear us talk about is if you can point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it, you can change it. Okay? So first thing I want you to do is I want you to think of something that well, let's do this first. You guys want to feel good again? You want to play with pleasure a little bit? Okay. I want you to close your eyes. Remember that amazing pleasure that you had in part one. Go back to that moment and allow it to get even stronger. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to notice there's a place in your body where those amazing feelings start, where they grow, where they spread from. Take a moment, point to where you feel it. Notice there's a color, maybe even a series of colors connected to those amazing feelings. I'm curious, I'm wondering what color or colors that might be for you. But again, I don't want you to type it. I just want you to know what it is. I want you to imagine a big ball of that energy floating above your head. I'd like you to notice how the feelings in your body shift and change. As with every breath you take and every beat of your heart, that ball of energy begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill the entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of pleasure. A cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all less than pleasurable experiences, real or imagined, while at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything it most wants, everything it most needs, in an infinite, ever-expanding and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got that, breathe those amazing colors through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air or helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in, my friends, so fully, so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away, not even you. And when you know you've got it, test it. Try to turn it off, try to take it away. Notice what happens instead. Now, for those of you who got something different, hang on to that, write it down, put it off to the side. I'll show you how to deal with that in a moment. Now, as you focus on those feelings and you feel it in your body, if there were a picture that represented these amazing feelings floating somewhere in the space around you, a picture you could reach out and touch. Take your non-dominant hand, reach out and touch that picture. First, go with your first impressions. Now trace the outline of it with both of your hands so you know how big it is. When you know how big it is, grab a hold of it. And just like you would expand the windows on your touchscreen or your iPhone at home, make that picture as big as the room and notice what happens to the feelings inside your body. Do they get stronger or do they get weaker? Doesn't matter which one you do, you just got to know which is which. When you got that, bring it back to its original size. Keep the size of the picture exactly the same now. Slowly pull it closer to your body and notice what happens. Does the feeling get stronger or does it get weaker? Whatever it is, just make a note of it. Doesn't matter which one you do, I'll explain it next. Lift it up over your head. Pull it down around you like a big blanket. What happened to the feeling now? Did it get stronger? Did it get weaker? Did your perception of it change? Did your perspective change? Did it go maybe from seeing yourself in the thing to being in it? Or did it do something else? Doesn't matter what you did, just notice the change. When you've got that, unwrap it, lift it back up, hold it up your head. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you know what a frisbee is. I want you to imagine this thing is now shaped like a frisbee. And I want you to take that frisbee and I want you to throw it all the way behind you. Whoosh, until it disappears completely beyond the horizon. When it disappears completely beyond the horizon, scan your body. Notice what happened to the feelings. How did they change? Right? When you're ready, and only when you're ready, lift your hands up. Imagine your hands are now the world's most powerful frisbee magnets. Suck that frisbee right back into your hands. As you hold it there, I'm going to tell you perhaps the most important thing you're going to hear today and quite possibly for the rest of your life. Inside your mind, body, and soul, you are the god or goddess of your reality. You are the king or queen of your universe. And you have absolutely every right, privilege, and authority to make any change that you want for any reason that you want. And I want you to play with your power right now. I want you to take this picture that you're holding and I want you to make it bigger. I want you to make it smaller. I want you to move it up. I want you to move it down. I want you to move it into your body. Move it out of your body. Move it all around. Notice how every time you change some aspect of that frame and the reality inside of it, the feelings and the energies connected to that frame change too. And I want you to keep playing with it until you find the exact size, shape, and location that gives you the exact feeling that you want to have at the exact intensity level that you want to have it. When you find that sweet spot, I want you to fix it into place. I want you to allow that pleasure to flow from the picture to your body, from your body to your heart, from your heart to your bloodstream, and from your bloodstream, every place your blood flows, those feelings go, into every nerve and every cell and every atom, into the very DNA of those cells, reprogramming, transforming, turning each and every cell of your body into a powerful, perpetual pleasure factory. Each cell of your body generating more and more and more of those amazing feelings in an infinite, ever-expanding, and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got that, go ahead and breathe those energies through your entire being till it locks in so fully and so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away. In fact, it only gets stronger. You can't even turn it off and take it away. When you're done testing it, you're sure of it, type in the chat what you discovered. Huge flow of energy, ease. Very good. Surrender. Okay, so sit so well, feeling stronger and buzzing. Good. Congratulations, you just tapped into the magic of your own nervous system. To the full spectrum of your mental body, your energy body, and your physical body. And you communicated to your entire nervous system using a language every part of you understands. Okay? So, how many of you noticed that when you pointed to where you felt it, reached out and touched it, and you traced it, and you made it bigger, the feelings got stronger? Just type in the chat, just say I did, or yes, that's fine. Right? Now, some of you may have noticed that when you made the picture bigger, the feelings got weaker? Anybody have that experience? Okay, perfect. Doesn't mean you did it wrong. It means you belong to a certain population. The people who, when they made the picture bigger and the feeling got more intense, we call expanders. The people who the picture got weaker when they made it bigger, we call concentrators. So concentrators, they actually get stronger by concentrating the image. It's just how your nervous system orients to the vibrational data. There's no right or wrong, there's no better or worse. It's just important to understand how you do it. Now, some people, when they play with the size, get very little change. That's fine. But pretty much everybody, when you move the proximity from here to here, you get significant change. How many of you, what did you notice when you wrapped it around you like a big blanket? What did you notice? Comforting, okay. Stronger, tingling, perfect, okay. The reason that this, again, going back to sharing my screen, most of us who've been bebopping around metaphysics for any length of time are familiar with diagrams like this. That shows you the human aura, or the electromagnetic field of the body. And we look at this and we go, oh, that is so cool, right? That this field exists. Except for one problem. It's practically useless in terms of helping us create change. The only thing that this map really shows us, or maps like this actually show us, are the different centers, the heart brain, the head brain, and the gut brain. But beyond that, it really doesn't help us do anything. But if we take this idea that there is a field around our body where information is stored and processed, then it has to be organized in some way. There has to be a way for the nervous system to know what to put where. And that's what this looks like. This is called the Proprioceptive Grid. So if you take this toroid type interlocking set of energy fields and you turn it into this, you now have a map for your experiences. Just for fun, when you took your Frisbee and you threw it all the way behind you, what happened to the feelings in your body? Type in the chat. What happened? Sad? Because the good feeling went away, Miriam? Coldness? Right? How does that work? I felt liberated. Yeah, because you put your sadness behind you, Rhonda. Felt like it was spreading around. Interesting. Spreading around the world. Okay. Again, there's no right or wrong here. But let me show you how human beings, how things generally work out for the average human being. And it goes back to this chart. So, this is the dividing line. This is the bare. Let me go back to an edge here. So this is the axis of the body. Think of it as your spinal cord or your Tai Chi pole. Then you have the boundary of the body itself. Right? Information that's out here is dissociated and disidentified from. Now, one of the things you have to understand is anything that you dissociate from or anything you disidentify with, you gain control over. As things move through the grid towards the body, they become progressively more associated and identified with. It becomes more imminent on the body starts treating it like it's actually you rather than something outside of yourself. And then at some point, if in a normally processed experience, the pictures will pass through the boundary of the body and we'll feel it most intensely, and then we'll start to get over it and it'll start to move away from us. So the takeaway here is, when you look at this proprioceptive grid, anything that's out in front of you is a file that your nervous system treats as overactive or pending. It's not completed yet. Anything that's behind you, your nervous system treats as over and complete. But in both cases, you move from a disidentified or disassociated perspective through an associated perspective to a dissociated perspective. So what you literally get is an inverted torus. I don't know if that makes any sense, but so again, think of energy collapsing or going through densities or being refracted, and then it's passed. Now, in the cases of traumatic memories, what's happened is something in that process froze it somewhere. But we can change that very, very easily. Okay? So this is how you can take things like auras and chakras and all those things that are kind of woo-woo and actually make them a little bit more practical. If you can, so the literal saying that we use is if you can point to where you feel it, you can change it, right? So let's play with that a little bit. Before we do, let me just remind you that when I log off the webinar tonight, those fast action bonuses go away. So just as a refresher, for those of you who are still interested, you can still claim your fast action bonuses. We only had 27 of them left anyway. It's the Hidden Laws of Attraction Ultimate Manifestation Mastery Home Study course. It includes the Hidden Laws of Attraction live seminar videos from 2020. It's a $1,497 value. You're also going to get Vibrational Influence UK Special Edition with those 2 days of bonus content. It's a $1,597 value. You'll get that absolutely free. And by the way, in these courses, we'll show you how to take this even further. But I want to give you something you can work with right away. And of course, Secrets of Personality Transformation, $2,497 value, absolutely free. We're going to give you the Vibrational Healing 2021 course, $1,997 value, absolutely free. The Hidden Laws of Attraction Soulmate Secrets Masterclass videos, $1,950 value. We're going to give you absolutely free. And by the way, everything in these courses is built on this idea that we're showing you right now. And it just takes you further and further in how to utilize it to reprogram every aspect of your reality, including the universe as a macrocosm. Okay? And of course, the Attraction Mastery 4-day intensive, $1,997 value, gives you the practical skills to apply the information you learned about yourself and your perfect and ideal partners in Soulmate Secrets. We're going to give that to you absolutely free. You're going to get 3 months of the NLP Power Mastermind Mentoring Program and access to the 11-year video archive, valued at $1,597. We're going to give it to you absolutely free. And of course, you get that free VIP super ticket, your choice of any single live event in our 2022-2023 calendar. It's a $2,250 value. We're going to give it to you absolutely free. Total combined value of this package is $15,382. You can get it all for one low installment today of just $997. If you need a little extra help, let Stephanie know, and we'll let you do 3 installments of just $397. And all you got to do to get yours is go to www.davidsnydernlp.com/HLOA. That's davidsnydernlp.com/HLOA. There's a lot of interesting conversations going on in this chat, but if I start reading them, I'm going to get distracted, and I don't want to do that. So let's get back to this. So again, reach out to Stephanie at 858-282-4663. If you have any questions, once again, for the chatters, 858-282-4663. Okay, there's, I'll have to look at that. I'll have to look at some of the chat messages later, guys. I'm sorry, I want to keep people on track. So, getting back to this stuff. So here's what we're going to do. What you've just discovered is what we call the Proprioceptive Grid. So when you have a primary experience, that information passes through the prism of your nervous system. It's disseminated into a holographic memory units. Part of it stays in the body and spreads out. The other part spreads out into the field around you. The first thing we want to do is connect the interoception to the exteroception, right? And they meet at the brain, by the way. So the first thing we do is we point to where we physically feel it. We reach out and touch it. We trace the outline of it with both of our hands so we know how big it is. We play with the size. Notice how the feelings in our body change. Okay? Now, are we clear on this so far? This is the first piece. Type in the chat if you're clear. Okay, good. All right. So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of something that on a scale of 0 to 10 is around a 1, 2, or 3. Just something minorly annoying. Right? As you think about that one thing that you want to clear, I want you to notice there's a place in your body where that feeling starts, where it grows and where it spreads from. Point to where you feel it. Go with your first impression. Now, if there were a picture floating in the space around you that represented that feeling, a picture that you could reach out and touch, where would you reach out to touch it? First impression, reach out and touch it. Now take both of your hands. Trace the outline of it with both of your hands so you know how big it is. Now, make it bigger. Notice what happens to the feeling. Does it get stronger or does it get weaker? Now make it even smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, put a big, thick black frame around it. Most of you are probably too young to remember when televisions had real dials and knobs and switches instead of touch screens and remote controls. But I want you to feel along that frame. And just like on a little transistor radio or an old television, you're going to feel some dials and knobs and switches, like on an old style television. Find the knob that controls the brightness or the contrast. Turn it all the way to the right until the image whites out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Turn the knob all the way to the left until the image blacks out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Decide which one you like better. Turn the knob all the way that way. If you like it all the way white it out, white it out. If you like it all the way blacked out, black it out. Now, take the index finger of your dominant hand. White it out or black it out to the degree that, or use some other color, whatever represents neutralization, right? Take the index finger of your dominant hand, and in glowing golden letters across that whited out or blacked out or otherwise colored out screen, there were some lessons that experience had to teach you, positive or negative. I want you to go ahead and write those lessons on that blanked out screen so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. Now, some people know exactly what those lessons were and they just, boom, they write those out lickety split. Some people have no conscious idea what those lessons are, but their unconscious mind, there's a part of them that always knows because it's the part that's been keeping it intact. Let that part write on the screen the lessons that need to be kept so you can keep all those lessons and let everything else go. Some people draw squiggles. Some people draw pictures. Every now and then people get pissed off or don't like to be told what to do. They write fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you across the screen. Some people write with both fingers simultaneously, like they're writing Chinese or Hebrew at the same time. However your body does it, just like automatic writing, just let the finger go. Let it do what it wants to do. So you can keep all those lessons on that screen and let everything else go. Now, I've had people write for 40 minutes. That screen will scroll just like a tablet screen will scroll, so you have an infinite, unlimited writing space. Just keep writing. If feelings and emotions come up, put them on the screen too. Keep writing until everything is out of you and on that screen. When you're done, and only when you're done, so this is where you have to take as long as you need to take. When you're done, reach up physically with both of your hands. Shrink that picture down to the size of a postage stamp or even smaller. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change as your unconscious mind begins the process of moving that postage stamp sized container all the way back behind you, down below the horizon until it disappears completely. And you know the sound a hammer makes when you're banging on a nail, or a nail gun is, right? I want you to hear that sound behind you, nailing that back there for all eternity. Impossible to come back. And when you know it's nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back, test it. Try to bring it back. Notice what happens instead. When you're satisfied, scan your body, notice how different you feel. Type what you discovered in the chat. I'll wait. It's okay. Free and happy. Feel lighter. It's because you lost energetic weight. This clears out your emotional body. More love? Very good. Very good. Now, this is a quick and easy way. Feeling lighter with image cycling and gray room technique. Okay, excellent. So here's what happens. There was a shock-like feeling, very common. I had to get sucked through a vortex of unknown realm, had another aha moment. The morphogenic pattern is set. Very good. Okay, so here's what we know. You are not solid. You are a light being. You are nested loops of vibrational density. Every time information passes through you from one vibrational density to another, it's refracted. But no matter what level of refraction it's at, in order for the nervous system to process it, it has to be encoded in a language that the entirety of your being understands. So you're starting to learn the language of the nervous system: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. But you're not using your voice necessarily, or just your imagination to change it. You're using the physical body, the intention, the conscious mind, and the imagination. You're integrating all of the different divisions of your neurology, using a language that every division of you understands. You're amplifying and synergizing all the the power and the amplitude of each of these parts of you towards a common goal. That's why the changes are so... Anybody notice they got warm or sometimes broke out in a sweat? That happens about 51% of the time. They get hot all over. There's a thermogenic response when the system works, right? Yeah. Again, I could spend hours talking about the neuroscience, the social psychology, all the shit that's going on. Yeah, you're still processing. This is a very fast intervention, but it's a very deep one, and the changes keep going long past the actual intervention itself. Weird, the heat thing, huh? Right? Remember, there is no alchemy without fire. And that's what you're doing. This is actual vibrational alchemy. This is transformation. But it's self-directed transformation. Right? I mean, I'm guiding you through it, obviously. Right? Yeah, fire. I think Diana just had an epiphany. I got modeling in your hands. Yep. Good Snyderism. All right. So here's the deal. I use a toilet in my gray room. It's more fun. That works. I've had people use paper shredders, flamethrowers. Doesn't matter. But if when you go through Secrets of Personality Transformation, you'll get the whole enchilada, right? Which is why we really, really, really promote that system, because that's the foundation for everything. Everything you're going to do in Hidden Laws of Attraction. Everything you're going to do in Soulmate Secrets. Everything you're going to do in Vibrational Healing and Vibrational Influence. Okay? Right. Because if you're studying magic, like true magic, or whatever word you want to call it, right? And you're not being taught about elements and how they work and how to connect with them, not the physical, like the physical fire or physical water, but the fire principle or the water principle, then they're leaving stuff out of your training. Well, again, your body knows what it needs, right? Just for fun. No, I'll ask that later. Okay, questions about this, really quick. I'll take one or two and then we'll move on to the next piece. Was this useful? Okay. Okay, I have time for two questions and then we're going to move on to the next piece. Okay, if you want the whole enchilada, grab the package before we log off tonight so you can get that VIP ticket. I want to hang out with all of you. This process is called Magic Frame. Okay, so when you go to your will the pick come loose? No, most of the time. See, one of the things that happened. Remember earlier I said, hold on a second. Let me give Kingsley the information. 858-282-4663. So here's the thing. You remember earlier I said that I asked how many of you have ever dated the same person with a different face? You guys remember when I said that? One of the things that happens is if we go through a similar experience and have the same result multiple times, One of the prime directives of your unconscious mind is to keep you safe. And if another part of its job is to keep you happy. And if it has to choose between keeping you happy and keeping you safe, it will choose safety. And it doesn't really give a shit about the ramifications of how it chooses to do it. So many times what happens is, let's use a business example, right? And then I'll use a relationship example. Person scrapes their money together, they go to school, they get the loans, the financing, they build a business, right? They're building this business, going really, really well. 2 or 3 years into the business, some cataclysmic fuck up happens, and all of a sudden the business is bankrupt. Boom. And it hurts, and it wounds him, but he or she picks himself up. They say, you know what? I did it once. I can do it again. Unconscious mind's going, man, that hurt, but I think we can get over it, right? He picks himself up, starts building from scratch. 2 or 3 years into the business, boom, crashes and burns again. Maybe it was his fault, maybe it was somebody else's fault. Doesn't matter. And cut to the quick. The unconscious mind going, ow, oh my God, that hurts so bad. I got to make sure this never happens to him again. How am I going to do that? I know. Every time he started a business, he lost it and it hurt. If he never has another business, he can never lose it, and he can never hurt this way ever again. Unconscious mind flips a switch, and he can't start a new business. Even though he's learned from all his mistakes, he knows exactly who to talk to, how to talk to them, where to go, what to do, where the financing is coming from, and he can't pull the trigger. Why? It's called a safety lesson. And your unconscious mind is doing this to you all the time. It's not trying to hurt you. It's not trying to fuck up your life. In its way, it is trying to help you. But the way it's doing it is screwing us up. And here's the kicker. It doesn't trust your conscious mind to not do it again. So it flips a switch to make sure you can't do it again. Same thing happens in relationships. We get into a relationship with somebody, it's going well, and all of a sudden, boom, they cheat on us, whatever, right? It's like, oh, okay, one bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, right? We get into another relationship, it's getting serious, going on a couple of years, all of a sudden, boom, crash and burn. Oh, the pain happens again. Maybe it's a similar situation, maybe it's a different one. All of a sudden, you go to a class, and you start learning what you did wrong. You start learning how to find the right kind of people, so you got to go to those people. You find a guy who's like the perfect one based on everything you've learned, everything you've changed about yourself, and you can't go beyond a certain point. You can't let it get beyond a certain point before you find yourself pulling back or not even being able to get excited or emotional or intimate with this person. Why? Because the pain from the previous 2 experiences has triggered a safety lesson at the unconscious level. And even though you consciously know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, who to do it with, you can't. Because the unconscious mind is trying to protect you by not letting you move forward. And the unconscious mind will not let you move forward unless you can significantly, strategically prove to the subconscious mind that you have learned these lessons and you will never have it happen again. And here's the problem. That seems very cut and dried. But you know, when I showed you that diagram, that HMU diagram, you know, with the like a DVD, that the visual, the auditory, the kinesthetic, and then the content. Well, that's a very organized, very conceptual understanding of a holographic container. But the inside of it is actually more like soup. All these things are moving, they're interacting, they're creating and feeding off of each other in an endless loop. Have you ever tried to unmake soup? Doesn't work very well, does it? Right? What this particular technique allows you to do is to reach inside that container and pull out the safety lessons and preserve them. If you go back and you watch this video, you'll keep hearing me say, keep the lessons and let everything else go. Because your unconscious mind has connected the safety lessons to the event. It's integrated in there. So it can't get rid of one without getting rid of the other. And if your unconscious mind has to choose between keeping you safe and keeping you in pain, it will keep you in pain. Because it keeps you safe. Because the lesson is still there. That's why sometimes you'll go to a practitioner, they'll do a process on you, and it seems to work great. On the way home, it comes back. Or a couple days later, it comes back. Or, as is sometimes the case, you'll have something you'll be seeing a practitioner for, it'll be like a 7, 8, or 9, and you'll go through this process and it'll go from a 7 to a 6 to a 5 to a 4, and it'll get to like a 2 or 3, and it won't change anymore. It won't go any further. Anytime it goes away and comes back, anytime it goes to a certain level and then doesn't go any further beyond that, you're dealing with a safety lesson. You're dealing with a set of rules that the unconscious mind has put in place to keep you from doing that shit again. And it doesn't have a clean way to extract what needs to be kept and let everything else go. So if it has to choose between letting it all go or keeping it all, it'll keep it all. Does that make sense? Not from a logical perspective, but functionally that's kind of how it works. So what do we do with Magic Frame? We open the container, we reach inside, we extract, we download, for lack of a better word, onto a different medium, the safety lessons. As our fingers move and we're writing the lessons out, we're also venting the emotional charge connected to the experience through the kinesthetic cortex. Remember, the only place a negative feeling or negative energy can hurt you is where we're trained to keep it locked inside our body. Any form of expression dissolves and vents that emotional charge and allows the system to become more plastic and changeable. Now, you don't have to believe any of that shit. You don't even need to know any of that for this to work for you. In fact, you didn't know any of that when we did it, right? Because there's useful information, there's interesting information, and they're not always the same. Okay? So, if there's something that gets in your way, point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it. Trace the outline of it, white it out, put a big old frame around it, write the lessons on the screen, shrink it down, move it behind you, nail it back there. Okay? Now, you guys remember when we did our emotional motivation checklist? You guys remember that? You're very welcome. And by the way, you can use this for pretty much anything. Now, we used a 1, 2, and 3. In Secrets of Personality Transformation and Hidden Laws of Attraction, we're going to teach you a concept called bucket listing. Bucket listing is a way that you can begin to do everything I've guided you through yourself. It teaches you how to separate from your traumatic experiences, how to reorganize them into a format that your nervous system is willing to do. Aileen, you don't need to know what the lessons are consciously. Your unconscious mind already created the lessons. We don't need to consciously know what this shit is for us to fix it. But many times what you'll discover, how many of you may have noticed that as you were writing this shit out and you moved it behind you, you had a spontaneous perspective shift on the event. You started seeing the memory of the experience differently. Anybody notice that? Get weaker? Okay. Okay. That's how you know you've healed something. Every change process that works always results, not just mine, but any change process that works almost always results in an immediate change of perspective about the event. You can't look or experience or remember or recall the event the same way anymore. Okay? You may remember exactly the data that happened, but how you feel about it changes dramatically. Kind of made me feel like it wasn't so severe. Exactly, right? So again, I could spend hours going through all this, right? In terms of the neuroscience, but you don't need to. Point to where you feel it, reach out and touch it. That's how the system works. Trace it, write it, boom, nail it back there. You're done. Okay? Anything that moves past into the posterior hemisphere, the neurology automatically recodes as over, complete, and done. And the further back you move it, the more powerful that feeling becomes. A lot of times when people move things behind them, they move them behind them, but they move them like right here. Right? Well, have you ever had anybody standing that close to you from behind? You can feel it. Right? Keep moving it. Right? Does that make sense? Now, your emotional bonding checklist. How many of you, when you were saying what you're doing your what's important about exercise, felt those little nagging feelings connected to the thing you wanted most? Did anybody have that? All right, so here's what I want you to do now. As you focus on where that nagging feeling was, I'm going to show you 2 ways to get rid of it, and you can keep using them in tandem. But we'll start with, since we're on the frame, we'll do the frame first. Point to where that nagging feeling was in your body. Take that hand, take your other hand. If there were a picture floating in the space around you that represented that nagging feeling that was in the way of what you wanted, a picture you could reach out and touch, where would you reach out and touch it? First impression. Go with your first impression, trace the outline of it. If it's everywhere, trace the outline of it. That's fine. Okay? Now grab it, make sure you got the right one. Make the picture bigger. Notice what happens to the icky feeling. Does it get stronger or does it get weaker? Now make it smaller, move it closer to your body. Does it get stronger? Does it get weaker? Now put it back to where it was. Put a big old frame around it. Feel along the base of that frame. Find the knob that controls the brightness or the contrast. Turn it all the way to the right until the image whites out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Turn the image all the way to the left until the image blacks out completely. Notice how that makes you feel. Decide which one you like better. Take the index finger of your dominant hand. There were some lessons, some rules, some things that this feeling was trying to do for you. I want you to write those things on that whited out or blacked out screen in glowing golden letters so you can keep all the lessons and let everything else go. Take as long as you need to. Some people can write with both fingers simultaneously. They're writing Chinese or Hebrew at the same time. Some people draw pictures. Some people draw squiggles. Every now and then you get somebody who's pissed off. They write fuck you, fuck you, fuck you across the screen. However your body does it, however your neurology wants to do it, just let that process happen and just keep writing. The screen will scroll like a tablet so you have an infinite, unlimited amount of writing space. And just keep writing. If feelings and emotions come up, if your body starts to have physical responses, just keep writing. And when you know you're done, and again, each of you are going to have to do this in your own time. I can't do it for you or with you, but I can kind of guide you. When you know you're done, and only when you know you're done, reach up, shrink that thing down to the size of a postage stamp or even smaller, float it up over the top of your head, back beyond the horizon, and once, just like before, get it nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back. And when you know it's nailed back there for all eternity, impossible to come back, test it. Try to bring that old feeling back and notice what happens instead. When you're satisfied, type what you discovered. We have a very massive reading list. Now, do yourself a favor, just for fun. Say your what's important about sentences out loud now and notice what happens. What do you discover? If you reach out to Seth privately, Miriam says, so very powerful, very empowering. Yes. Isn't this how we want? Is this what we want? You guys ready to take the next step? All right. So everything that I've taught you today is in the webinar package that we're offering, and the entire system is there. I can only teach you bits and pieces, but I want to show you what some of these pieces can do. When you put them together, you get a whole that's greater than the sum of the parts. Okay? So we're going to do one more thing today. And again, we're going to talk about yin formations a little bit. And the way this works is your nervous system has a preferred way it creates your reality. There's a structure to how it creates reality. And so the first thing I want you to do is understand that we live in a reality of cause and effect. Right? When you ask people what karma is, people who are actually educated on karma will tell you that karma is the law of cause and effect. Everything you do creates something, which creates something, which creates something. Well, when you have that primary experience, okay, your brain encodes and makes a recording of that primary experience, which it then treats as the real thing. One of the first set of filters that your neurology applies to that coded system is a cause and effect filter. The first thing it wants to know is what came first, second, third. What caused what, which caused what, which caused what. And then it applies the second filter, which is the meaning filter. What do these things actually mean to me? Are you with me so far? Okay. If we want to do affirmations or a type of affirmation that will completely transform our neurology in the shortest amount of time possible, we have to use these filters. So I'm going to teach you what we call level 1 information training, right? And here's the first principle I want you to understand. Do you remember when I posted on YouTube and on Facebook, I posted a meme, and I said in that meme, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. Did you guys see that? And here's what I mean by this. The human nervous system is the world's most powerful, progressive, question-answering mechanism in the universe, short of the universe itself. Your neurology will sometimes pathologically seek to answer any question you put to it, regardless of how stupid the question is or how badly formed it is. And you all have had this experience. You've all met somebody out there in the real world, something bad happens and they stand up, they look at the universe and they say, "Why does this always happen to me?" Right? The unconscious mind is down there going, "Oh, he wants a list. Here you go. Here's why all this shit happens to you." Right? Shitty question, shitty answer. Better question, better result. So instead of asking yourself, why does this always happen to me? You might ask, how can I make my life better? How can I do things differently? Notice that ask yourself that question out loud and notice what happens, the response you get from your own nervous system. First impressions. What do you notice? What do you notice? What did it answer? Did it answer something positive? Open space and time, very good. So, here's how we went from frustration to hope. Boom. Okay. So now, in part 1, I'm gonna sit down for this because I want you guys to really get it. And again, if you like any of the pieces that I'm sharing with you, please grab one of those packages. You're gonna sell yourself short. You're gonna miss out on. Think about what you can do with what you've got. You have the whole system. Life is your oyster, baby, and you can do whatever you want. All right. So here's the deal. When we start to create an affirmation that will stimulate our nervous system, we have to do it in a way that the unconscious mind provides the answers. Now, here's what I mean. How many of you have heard me say in past trainings or in other videos that what the nervous system creates, the nervous system accepts? Anybody? Just type me if that's true for you in the chat. Okay. So rather than arbitrarily creating from our conscious mind an affirmation, if we ask the unconscious mind why we deserve something, it will answer us. So I'm going to share my screen really quick because I want you to have this experience, but I want to make sure that we're all working from the same, kind of on the same page. So this particular process is known as the information level 1. There's 2 or 3 levels to this. We're always adding more. We're finding better ways to do it. So think about this. Think of something you want. I don't care what it is. Maybe you want to have a 6-figure business. Maybe you want to feel more deserving of money. Maybe you want to attract the love of your life. These sound like things people might want or things that might resonate with you. Maybe you want to be more fearless. Confident, be more confident. Give me a couple other ones that you might want for yourself. Just type a couple in the chat. YouTubers, don't be bashful. I know you got a little bit of a delay. Be more empowered, okay? And just for my edification, right? Have you guys become more empowered as a byproduct of tonight's training? Have I delivered the promise that I made to you? Cool. All right. So, okay, so here's what now how do we do this? When you do this, again, level 1 is a statement. So let's say I want to use, I feel more empowered. So you type what you want to have. You write the word because, and you speak the first thing that pops into your head. So we're going to do this one together at home. Everybody stand up. I want you to say, I feel more empowered because, finish the sentence, speak it out loud. First impressions. Don't even think, just speak. I feel more empowered because. Say it 5 times. If it's the same answer, use the same answer. If it's a different answer, use the different answer every time. Speak it out loud 5 times. Tell me what you notice in your body. It's okay, I'll wait. These things have to be experienced. All right. When you're done, what happened each time you repeated those phrases? That was interesting. That doesn't really feel stronger. How many of you are vibrating a little bit? You got a few answers, right? Certainty, no joke, right? Now think about that. That was only 5 repetitions. The nagging doubt got smaller each time I said it. Change went deeper. Yes. Got to vibrating. Yes. What do you think would happen to your neurology if you spoke this out loud for 5 straight minutes? Now, think about something. When your unconscious mind answers you, it's giving you the beliefs that it accepts as the way for you to get what you want. You understand? You're changing from the reptile brain up, not the neocortex down. So when you, and again, in other words, when you say, I feel empowered because, your neurologist says, you feel empowered because blah, blah, blah. That's a belief that your nervous system already has. You don't need to install it. You don't need to change it. It's something your entire nervous system is willing to act on. You already own it. There's no blockage. Anybody notice did any blockages come up? I'm betting the vast majority had none, right? Clear channel. Now think about those of you who do affirmations. Think about how much time you spent doing affirmations the old way. What if you spent that amount of time doing it this way? What do you think? Now I'll bet, while you're typing in your chats and all that, now I'll bet that as those feelings were coming up through your body, there was a place where they started. True or not true? Notice there's a color connected to that feeling. What's that color? First impression. Imagine a big ball of that energy floating above your head. Notice how the feelings in your body shift and change with every breath you take and every beat of your heart. That ball of energy begins to grow, begins to expand, begins to fill the entire room from floor to ceiling, from wall to wall, and all points in between. Notice how it wraps itself around you like an amazing blanket of transformation. A cocoon, a shield, a suit of armor, insulating you, protecting you from all failures, all blocks, real or imaginable, at the same time flooding your mind, flooding your body, flooding your spirit with everything it most wants, everything it most needs in an infinite, ever-expanding and unlimited supply. And when you know you've got that, breathe those amazing colors and vibrations through your entire being. Let it fill you up like water fills up a bottle, like fluid fills up a test tube, like hot air helium fills up a balloon. Anchor it in so fully, so completely, no force in the universe can turn it off or take it away, not even you. When you realize it's true, test it. Try to turn it off. Try to take it away. Notice what happens instead. Type that in the chat for me. There you go for state, and that's state control. That's magic. And it all came from you. And there's so much more. So much more. For those of you who know you deserve it, who are ready for it, I invite you to grab one of those last few remaining webinar packages. Secrets of Personality Transformation. Everything I taught you is in there. Hidden Laws of Attraction. Everything I taught you and more is in there. Vibrational Healing, Vibrational Influence. So much more. This is just the beginning. This is a baby stuff compared to what we can do for you, what we can show you how to do. Do you deserve it? I don't know. That's up to you, right? Anyway, just as a reminder for those of you who are kind of coming into the home stretch, Hidden Laws of Attraction. You get the Hidden Laws of Attraction live training, $1,497 value. But you're also going to get Vibrational Influence UK Special Edition, $1,597 value, absolutely free. If you like this stuff, you are going to absolutely be blown away by Vibe UK. I am so proud of that course. I was almost sorry I taught as much as I did because there's some really crazy crap going on out there. Anyway, Vibrational Healing, 2021, $1,997 value. It's yours free. Secrets of Personality Transformation, where a lot of this stuff comes from, $2,497 value. It's yours for free. Soulmate Secrets Masterclass, $1,950 value, free. NLP Mastermind Group Trial, 3-month training, and the 11-year video archive, 3-month full access, $1,597 value. You get it for free. And when you're ready, you get to come to your choice of any single live event in our 2022-2023 calendar, 5 days or less, absolutely free. Doesn't expire, never goes out of style, absolutely free. Total value, $15,382. You can get yours for one low investment of just $997, or if you need a little help, let us know, and we'll break that into 3 easy installments of just $397 each. All you need to do to get yours right now is go to www.davidsnydernlp.com/HLOA. davidsnydernlp.com/HLOA. davidsnydernlp.com. Yes, I sound like my announcer voice. davidsnydernlp.com/HLOA. I have time for a couple of questions while you're finalizing that. If you need to get a hold of Stephanie, you can reach her directly at 858-282-4663. 858-282-4663. Okay, Hoist. There's Shanna says, this was amazing. Thank you. Can't wait to join. Can't wait to have you, man. Or is it? I can't tell. Is that Shauna? What is that? Shauna is that? I don't want to make the mistake of getting the gender wrong. Are you male or female? What do you identify as, Shauna? Yes. Diana says, assemblage point. It may not be relevant. If so, know it. I don't know what that. Diana, can you re-ask that question? Female. Okay, very good, Shana. Or Shauna. So Rocket Rod says, thank you for the link to Killer Influence. However, the bonuses are different. Yeah, don't go to the Killer Influence page. Go to the David Snyder NLP page. Here, Rocket, do that one. Hold on a second. I think I saw a question. Vikas Rastogi says, thanks, David, for this session. You are rocking as usual. I do my best, guys. Again, I know, in the law of attraction world, there's so much snake oil. There's so many people who say, you just got to buy my product and you'll get this, right? Well, show me something now, motherfucker. Like, give me an experience. Give us something that changes us, right? The bonuses shown on the PowerPoint slide are the correct bonuses, so that is what you will get, guaranteed, regardless of what the webpage says. Okay, you have my word on it. Okay, and again, you have until 11:59 p.m. tonight, March 30th, 2022, not December. I have no idea how that happened. Okay, so let's see here. Diana's saying there was a magical academy who asked for an image of self to whether or not to admit, depending on a personal assemblage point. Have you ever heard of this? There's a thing called the Modern Mystery School. I've heard some weird things about them. I can't comment one way or another. I don't know. There are a lot of, mystery schools out there, and they all have different membership requirements. I'm kind of the open source mystery school. So yeah, I don't like to comment on other people. I mean, I'll be honest. I comment on everybody's stuff. But I like to make sure that I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about and I can back up what I say before I make certain comments. So it doesn't allow 3-part payment. Reach out directly to Stephanie and she will set you up with a link and a set of invoices for that, Rocket. Yeah, that is weird. There are schools, mystery schools, that will measure your chakras, for example, for access to certain levels. Like, for example, the pranic healing system. Like, if you're going to be a teacher, Royce, I am very familiar with Dr. Johnson's work. Exceedingly familiar, if you understand my drift. Like, if you're going to be a teacher in the pranic healing system, they'll actually measure your basic chakra to make sure it's strong enough to support a business. Because in their world, the basic chakra, the root chakra, is the one most necessary for business success. Some people will actually look at your face. They'll do face reading on you. Some people will read your aura. You know, every system is different. You know, what are my thoughts about vibrational healing? That's what you've been doing this entire class. Where can you get a vest? All you got to do to get a vest, if you want it, there's two ways you can do it, Royce. If you want to just buy the vest outright, you can go to shrinestore.com. Or if you become one of our platinum or mega platinum members, we will actually buy the vest for you, and we will present it to you at one of our live events. It's true. Anybody in here? Any of our platinums here who have their vests? Miriam says, I figured, so I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, everything we do is vibrational, right? Everything we do has a vibrational component. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? It's just we have to use whatever. How do you become a platinum? Very, very good question, Robin. Reach out directly to Stephanie Skiba at 858-282-4663. She will tell you exactly how to become a platinum member. We don't usually talk about those on the webinars. So Morton says, meet female, 2 long phone calls. We meet 10 on, arrange a date, have a short call. Then she does not want to see me again. How could I win her back? I need to know a lot more about why she didn't want to see you in the first place to answer that question effectively. But you could image cycle it. Stephanie's email is Stephanie at nlppower.com. Will there be a replay? Yes. In fact, as soon as I log off of YouTube, YouTube will process this footage. Should have the replay available within probably 45 minutes to an hour. You can probably start watching it. The other version, the Zoom version of this call, we'll have to upload to the website. But yes, there will be a replay. Yes, Kim. Have I had any? Yes, I've had some. Not a lot. For some reason, and the only way I can figure this out, I got about a 50-50 success rate with tinnitus, which is better than most, but it's still not what I consider good in our world. Most of the things we do, we're in the high 90% resolution rate. But I think one of the reasons for tinnitus having such a low success rate is because a lot of times the people with the tinnitus don't want to hear what you have to say. I've seen a kind of a personality quirk in regards to certain contexts or certain subjects that they're just not ready to listen about, and that tinnitus is kind of an extrapolation of that. That's my theory anyway. I can't prove it one way or the other, but that's my observation. But yeah, we've got about a 50-50 with tinnitus. Hey, the worst that can happen is nothing. That's why I tell people, what do you got to lose by doing it? The worst that can happen is nothing. Right? And of course, you got the 60-day money-back guarantee with the entire system if you want the package. If nothing happens in 60 days, pick up the phone. We'll give you your money back. Right? Right? You got everything to gain and nothing to lose. So anyway, I sincerely hope that you guys going to use these skills to help folks remove negative thoughts. I'm so grateful. Miriam, I actually praise that, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning first. Make sure that the people you're going to help actually want the help. It's very, very easy when you get these superpowers, and to the layman who doesn't understand what's behind it, they look like superpowers. It's literal magic. But it's magic we understand. You got to make sure that they actually want the help. You got to make sure that they don't have a reason for keeping it, which is why I teach you the magic frame. Magic frame, that technique is the one technique that you can use to remove secondary gain from people and make them actually more open to change, right? But you got to make sure up front that they actually want it. Yeah. So again, the sad part about being a change worker is that most people won't change until they've suffered enough. Until they've reached a point in their life where they just can't take one more day. Okay? And then they become open. Physical pain is actually one of the easiest things to get rid of, because people are highly motivated to get rid of it. So they tend to do what you ask them to do, and they get amazing results. And they don't got to believe it. That's the best part about everything you learn today. You don't got to believe any of it. You can think of it as all one big game of pretend. Do the process. It'll still work. Don't believe me. Go do it. All right? Hey, listen, I hope you all had a great time. If you had a good time, please like, share this video, post your results in the comments section. If you didn't like the video or you don't get good results, post to somebody else's channel. Right? I love you all. Good night. God bless. Remember, when I log off tonight, those fast action bonuses, the Attraction Mastery 4-day video course, the NLP Power 3-month training, hands-on training, the free VIP ticket, bye-bye. Right? So you know, if you had an experience, if you had a result from these trainings, from these techniques, you owe it to yourself to take it to the next level. You're not here by accident. Are you ready for it? If you are, click that link, and I will see you on the other side. Good night and God bless. I'll talk to you soon.